Hello, everyone. Michael Jordan fans are the best. And today we're going to be talking about if LeBron James really cares about winning another championship. I want to welcome everybody that's on the panel right now. We should be expecting Hoop Guy 23 in the next few minutes. But first, let me introduce a new guest on the panel, Angry Old Hoops. How are you doing today?
Hey, I am excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. And then here's Hoop God. Hoop God, you know you can join before the show.
Yeah, I'll be struggling with my email, man. I'm trying to get it together. Y'all bear with me.
No, it's all good. I wasn't sure if you were tracking, but since I brought you up, how are you today, Hoop God 23?
Oh man, I'm great, man. Of course it's Super Bowl Sunday, so trying to make sure I'm doing everything piece by piece, bit by bit. I don't want to start being sporadic and rushing. That's how accidents happen.
Absolutely. Rex, you were just plainly Rex today. How's your day going?
Just got back in the house 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago from going out running, riding bikes with the boys.
Fun times. That's always great. And Robin, Sports and Fitness Rants, how are you today?
Yo, what's up, Dart, baby? You know what it is, man. Yo, it's a great day today, man. Shout out to Dart, man. Shout out to Michael Jordan fans, are the best, man. Shout out to Angry Old Hoops, man, for showing up to the live stream, man. Word up, man. This is awesome right now, man. Truly blessed the live stream, man. So shout out to him, man. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Let's do it.
Hey, Robin be bringing that energy, man. I love it.
Hell yeah. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. And AOH, since you are new to the show, I will honor you with the first question. Do you think that LeBron James really cares about winning another championship?
Oh, I'm glad I get to go first. You know, I'm a ranter. This is more complicated than it should be. I think for me personally, we have to start by looking at LeBron's narcissism. Because at this stage in his career, he's so narcissistic that he makes other narcissists look reasonable. And the reason that this applies to the topic is LeBron cares about himself first and foremost, above everything, above his team, above the franchise. And at this point, that can include winning. If the narrative gets so absurd to the point that winning doesn't matter anymore, and enough people tell LeBron, yeah, you don't have to win and you still are the GOAT. Let's look at your accolades. Then winning will go down in his priority list. On the other hand, if he made a deal with the devil and the devil said, the world will unconditionally consider you the greatest, everyone will, after you get 6 or 7 titles, I think LeBron James would sacrifice his own children for that. So it's all about what will allow him to be perceived as great. And, you know, look at his in-game play. Look at when the team is down 10, 20, 30, and he is celebrating his wide open dunks. Like, he does not fucking have any idea what the situation of the game is. He is clearly in his own mind and about himself and wondering what the cameras are going to capture to show later. So does LeBron care about winning? Yes, but only as it applies to building up his image, and it comes second to caring about himself. And I want to give you one more example before I let this rant go, because it's something I don't think people have talked about. If we go to 2016, when he declared himself the GOAT, prior to saying those words, which were so ridiculous, I thought it was a joke. I didn't think he really said it until I went and saw it myself. Prior to that, he says this little line about, I was just thinking about how much this meant to the city. And then I thought, that one makes you the GOAT. And I'm like, okay, the fact that you were thinking about whether or not you were the GOAT in that fucking moment tells me that there's no way in hell you gave a shit about the city. That is a line. That is just a line. And who in the fuck in their third championship right after winning is worried about whether or not people think they're the GOAT? How the fuck is that where your brain is at? I'm sorry. Am I allowed to cuss on here? I'm the wrong person to have if I'm not allowed to cuss.
No, you're good, man. Just as long as you don't do more extreme stuff on here, that's fine. You're allowed to curse, just don't use any weird slurs or anything like that. But basically, cursing, yeah, that's cool.
All right, you get the point. I could go on, but let's hand it off.
All right, Hoop God, what's your take on this?
Oh man, I gotta just follow up on a few things that Angry Old Hoop said, because everything he said was factually based. But I want to go a little further with the 2016. So there's a soundbite out there of Ty Lue. I forgot whose platform it was on, but anywho, Ty Lue was giving a rundown of that sequence before Kyrie hit the shot. Well, no, I take that back. It was during halftime before Kyrie took the shot. Now, this is Ty Lue speaking, the coach of the Cleveland Cavaliers. He says, he comes in there, he says, LeBron's over there giving himself a manicure and doing whatever, he's not even engaged. And he goes to him, he said, hey, Bron, I need you to do more. He was like, what you mean, Ty Lue? I'm leading in points, assists, rebounds, steals, ball. He said, no, bro, I need you to go check Draymond, go guard up on Draymond Green, slow him down and nullify him, because right now, Draymond is getting off on you, bro. I don't care about no stats. Stop telling me about your stats. Go out there and win the game. Now, we know how that sequence turned out. The last 5 shots before Kyrie hit the three to put them up, brick on Festus Ezeli, brick on Steph Curry, brick on Andre Iguodala, brick again on Andre Iguodala. I say that to say this. You're in an NBA Finals Game 7 and your coach tells you you need to do more, and your response is, I'm leading in all 5 statistical categories. That's making me think, you're more focused on stats, not winning. Because when you're focused on winning, you don't care about the stats. You're doing what your team needs you to do, i.e. Michael Jordan, i.e. Kobe Bryant, i.e. Tim Duncan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, those guys. So then we fast forward, right? 2018. Now, I would like to give the guy a little bit of credit for game 1. I think he played phenomenal. But this is what separates Jordans, the Kobes, the Magics, and the Duncans away from him. You have the defending champions in an overtime sequence. You're playing with house money. They have to go win the game. Rather than speak life into your team, you're over here having a mental meltdown, like throwing a temper tantrum like a 5-year-old, crying about a timeout. I mean, just doing the absolute worst. And again, like Angry Old Hoop said, the guy knows that the media is looking at him. Like, bruh, the team goes as the leader goes. Why are you over here having a temper tantrum and pouting? You supposed to be speaking life into your team. Like, hey, guys, we got them on the ropes. Let's take this bad boy home. But you come out there and you give no effort. I mean, scored 0 points from the field, 2 free throws. That's it. And then, of course, we know how that series ended up. They got swept. So let's move on to the Denver Nuggets series. Within the fourth quarter of within 2 minutes of that game, each possession, it was within 1 point. You can't be the leader and take over and extend that lead. You can't be the leader on your team and tell the guys, hey, get on my back. I'm gonna take you out to the promised land. Like, what's going on? You go 7 of 23 in the fourth quarter of that series. Like, I'm really scratching my head. Like, do you really care about winning, or do you just care about your statistical output? So when they look back, hindsight, 20 years later, oh, well, look at LeBron James led in all major categories. Yeah, but he lost. What's the end result? He lost. So I'm with Angry Old Hoops on this one. I feel like in the right situation, the right scenario, if you give LeBron that front running, yeah, he'll go out there and play like the Incredible Hulk. But if it's a situation where he has to dig and fight and scratch and claw his way back, more often than not, he's just going to bow out. He's going to get his stats and he's just going to throw his hands up and say, hey, man, I didn't have any help. So I do believe he cares about winning, but only to benefit him, not his team. That's my take, gentlemen.
All right, Rex, what do you got to say about Hoop God, or just the initial question in general, or whatever AOH said?
Well, first of all, to Angry Old Hoop God, as a confirmed narcissist, I agree with everything you said.
Thank you, young man. I appreciate that, sir.
Angry Old Hoop.
Myself, I can.
You said Angry Old Hoop.
You said thoughts.
You said Angry Old Hoop God. I just wanted to make that
Hey, I appreciate that. You don't have to call me God.
That was good. The only thing, it's the best way of putting this without just sounding like a pure slam. There are different ways of leading. People revered like Magic's way of leading. People would try and slam Jordan's way of leading, but they were still leading. They were still leaders. It all comes down to me, and this is all Dart's fault because I've been watching basketball lately for the first time in a decade, so I can try and speak intelligently on this. And LeBron's quote, as a former career bench warmer, LeBron's quote about himself, not the GOAT quote, all right? Because let's be honest, every great player believes he's the GOAT. Jordan believed he was the GOAT from about the age of 17, okay? So did Bird, so did Magic, so did Kareem, so did Russell. They all do. It's part of the DNA. The difference is when LeBron sits there and says outright, I always make the right play. That is passive aggressive, low key saying it's my teammate's fault. Because in any situation, anything, just remember, people, remember, I always make the right play. So you're throwing your teammates and coaches under the bus in advance. You're telling everyone anything goes wrong, it's their fault because I always make the right play. So stemming from that, that's the reason for the histrionics with the timeout in the finals, and he starts flipping out rather than taking control because he wanted it to be known that he was upset by his teammate's mistake. It's his teammate. It was the teammate. Oh, my God, can you believe this? Oh, throwing the hands up, flailing around, shaking his head, walking away, staring up at the sky. All that is passive-aggressive, pointing the finger at everyone else. He does not care about championships to a point, but he does care about them because they made up a whole new championship during the season just for him, did they not?
Correct.
So he does care, or they wouldn't have gone through all that effort. So he does care. He cares about racking up numbers. Remember, we had this discussion about back when we were talking about, it was just Dart and myself talking about the contrast between LeBron and Michael. And that Michael, he cared about it. Jordan was never going to play for 20 or 21 years. There's no way he ever could because the intensity level that he played with, just like Bill Russell, 13 full years is about the best you can do before it's your body and your mind is just worn thin. Playing at that level of intensity day in, day out. I mean, how long did AI last? You know, the guys that are known for just 100 miles an hour every single game. I found a quote from the assistant coach, Phil Handy, talking about LeBron and how he witnessed hands-on the LeBron mentality of he will coast, his words, not mine, through parts of the regular season to conserve energy and stay healthy so that he can turn on playoff mode. Okay. That whole turning on off playoff mode, I know from experience that works at lower levels. But when you get to the most elite teams on the planet, you can't be the only guy turning on playoff mode because everyone on every team is in playoff mode already. And that's why he falls short in a lot of critical late season moments. There is a thing called mid-season form.
I've heard of
And
that.
that is what he tries to keep himself. He tries to hit the playoffs in mid-season form. But that works physically. He seems to be really overemphasizing the physicality of the game and not the mentality. You have to be focused all the way through. That's why I told you guys with the in-season tournament, when they won, they're going to go on a losing streak because you can't get that high. You can't celebrate, jump around, be that emotionally involved, connected in the middle of the season, and then continue to play. Kareem famously told Magic after his first NBA game, Magic, we have 81 more games to go. We cannot get this high after one win. That's truth. And so he cares, but as time has shown us, his priority is not the intensity in winning in the moment, winning now, winning all the time. His priority is sustainability and longevity, to do it as long as possible at an elite level, not be elite and dominating and then carry it until you just can't anymore. Those are the differences.
All right, real fast. Do you have anything else to say, Rex? Or...
No, sir.
All right. Robin, you've got a super chat from Roland Curtis. He says if LeBron won a ring in this 2023-2024 season, then he would have had 5 rings in 21 years at age 39. Michael Jordan won his 5th ring in 12 years at age 34. Kobe Bryant won his 5th ring in 13 years at age 31. I don't know if you want to address the super chat that Roland sent to you, and what do you have to say about what all these other gentlemen said?
Absolutely. Shout to Roland. And I'm going to answer his super chat in my answer to what we're talking about right now, because all this comes down to the same things, guys. What have we been talking about here? LeBron James might care about winning, but the problem for LeBron James, and you guys have alluded to this in several ways, he doesn't want to put the work in to win. So what has happened is now he's been through all these seasons now, and like my man Roland said, he hasn't even got his 5th ring yet. He's on his 21st season. Because he seems to not understand. The thing that eludes him is that he has to put the work in. You must try and give the effort. LeBron James is not giving the max effort like a Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan gave on both ends at 82 games a season, or trying to play 82 games. LeBron James is having his teammates being blamed because he needs more help. So what you have is what? LeBron James needs more help, but LeBron James only playing 50 games a season or 55 games a season, or LeBron James is standing around on defense. So, yes, he might care about winning because we all know that he's obviously chasing Michael Jordan's 6 titles. Everyone's chasing Michael Jordan's 6 titles. Tom Brady was chasing Michael Jordan's 6 titles. Everyone's chasing Michael Jordan. It doesn't matter what aspect of life that it is. You can be compared to Michael Jordan because he represents greatness and excellence. The problem for LeBron James, to this day, he still doesn't understand. You must put the work in. He has seemed to always try to duck out on the work and the grind to become a winner at the highest level. This is why he's inconsistent with 4-6 in the record in the NBA Finals. His fans will tell you, how is LeBron James inconsistent? He averages 27, 7, and 7 for his entire career. He puts up all these numbers. Once again, these are the numbers. Anyone could put these numbers up in this era right now. The game is catered to LeBron James. The game is not consistent because LeBron James only playing half the season. He's playing half the game. So this all comes back to the fact that LeBron James cares about winning, because that would always ultimately help his legacy and who he's chasing, the other all-time great players, not just Michael Jordan. He's chasing a lot of guys still. But the facts remain that LeBron James does not want to put the work in to win at the highest level like the other players put in, which is why what? He's asking us for respect. The man is damn near 40 years old. He's been playing for 21 seasons. And somehow, some way, he's still asking for respect. Like, that's what we're talking about right here, man. So, yes, he cares about winning, but he don't want to put the work in to win, man.
All right. So for me, I think that he cares about winning to a certain respect, but I think he's changed his approach to being called the greatest of all time. Simply put, I believe that he thinks that he can never measure up to who Michael Jordan is in relativeness to his greatness. He's not going to be as popular or iconic off the court. He's not as smooth. He's not as attractive, per se, in respect to the game of basketball as Michael Jordan was. And at this point, it doesn't seem like he's going to match up to the championships. I think that him and his team and the media have taken the approach of, well, let's just be the greatest longevity player of all time. Let's have the most points of all time. Let's do the most of all of these things, because he can say that he did that, because it's true. And that is the team. That is how they approach this whole thing now, just plainly. I don't hear anybody talking about, well, winning matters to the point of this. It doesn't in regards to his team. What matters is him having 40,000 points or whatever it comes to next. It matters that he's going to be a top 10 assist and rebound player of all time. And that's going to be the argument why he's the GOAT. So in a phrase, no, he does not care about winning another championship. He cares about having the biggest numbers due to his longevity. And in my opinion, that's the only way that he can ever argue that he is greater than Michael Jordan. And that's why his fans argue that, because that's the only way you can ever say that, is he's had a longer career, has accumulated more stats, because he's never, in my opinion, he's never going to reach the off the court icon that Michael Jordan has, let alone the on the court outside of this longevity. Period. So, that's what I have to say about that. So this is dragging weird. So Angry Old Hoops, what do you think about what I had to say about that? Do you think that his longevity stats is the only thing that you can argue to say that he's the greatest of all time? Or do you think there's anything else? And do you think that what else do you think makes him great outside of that?
Well, the other thing that you'll hear fanboys talk about is his size, muscles.
Pause.
But in the exact same way that his longevity stats don't matter, his size doesn't matter. I'm still dumb enough to go play pickup ball sometimes, and these kids talking about their LeBron shit, and they're like, why would I ever want skinny little Jordan? And look at all of LeBron's stats. I'm like, you would never, ever, if you had those two to choose from right here and right now to win one game, you would never, ever, ever choose LeBron James. His fucking stats are not going to help you win the game here today. And they actually always get a little bit flustered at that, because I think somewhere deep down they're like, yeah, we need someone with the mentality of Michael Jordan. And I would never, ever, LeBron James, the way that he behaves, he could get 10 titles. And I would never choose him to be on my team over Michael Jordan if I was putting my life savings on whether or not I thought I would win that game. So yeah, the longevity doesn't mean shit. I joke on my channel all the time about, why do you guys think it's okay for someone to suck at age 39 and they lose? I mean, if I go out and play and I say, hey guys, don't worry about the fact that I suck. I want you all to know that I'm, a middle-aged man. They're not going to be cool with that. So I don't, if I was in the NBA bench warming and they let me go in during garbage time for 70 years, I could get longevity stats. It's just longevity stats don't mean anything to me.
All right. Real fast. Robert Coburn asks, are you allowing anyone to join the stream because LeBron will always be the frozen one in 2011? Once we start winding down, we'll allow callers to call in for a period of time, but not right now. It's going to be, to give you a timeline, probably in an hour-ish that we'll let people call in. We're just going to talk for now. Hoop God, what do you got to say about all this?
Well, I wanted to come back to just a few quick points. One that Rex, he spoke on about midseason form, and that's absolutely true, because it kind of just made me think about a segment on what was it? Speak for Yourself. It was Jason Whitlock, I think Colin Cowherd, and Doug Gottlieb. And I vividly remember them saying that from the month of December 2017 to January 2018, when the Cleveland Cavaliers was having that whole organization about, they needed to get that guy some more help, he had the worst plus minus within those 2 months at a negative 39, like practically quit on the team. I mean, let's just call it what it is. Another thing that Robin also spoke on when he said about putting in the work. Now, I'm just making an analogy because I really don't care about this guy, but as far as his business mindset, how he rose to the top, it's phenomenal. And I'm talking about one Sean P. Combs, but formerly known as Puff Daddy. Everybody, like the guy we're talking about, he wants to shine like Diddy, but he didn't want to put in the work like Puff did. And you cannot get those results without putting in that work. And the next point about the cumulative totals and stats. Now, Dart, there's another guy that's got all these records, right? Yet somehow they just gloss over him. I'm talking about Wilt Chamberlain. Because when I hear these guys out here and they say, oh, but he has all, I'm like, okay, but wait. Are we talking about stats? Because I don't want to speculate. I want to be sure. I'm like, okay, let's break this down. Wilt has 11 rebounding titles. That's more than LeBron. Wilt has 1 assist title for a center, which is remarkable. Wilt also has 7 scoring titles, and he led the league scoring 50 points. Now, I know Rex gave us the whole breakdown on that, so I'm only using that in this aspect when they start shooting off all these records. I'm like, so are we just going to forget about Wilt? Because if we're going to use these cumulative totals or we're going to use all these astronomical numbers, then he ain't past Wilt in that category. So which one will we be using, right? Now, let's segue to the next thing, like you said, about longevity. I'm looking at a guy not known for his offensive longevity, but known for his defensive longevity. And I argue him a lot out here on these platforms. Tim Duncan. Tim Duncan has the most all-defensive teams of anybody, 15, right? He has more seasons making all-NBA first team and all-defensive first team, which is 8 over LeBron, who only did it 5 times, right? Tim Duncan has the most blocks in the playoffs, has the most double-doubles in the playoffs, has the most double-doubles in the entire regular season of the NBA. Somehow his name just gets overlooked. I went and looked up the defensive ratings at the age of, I want to say 37, either 37 or 38. And it wasn't even particularly close. Like Tim Duncan was miles ahead of this guy. Not to mention that Tim Duncan was the oldest guy to make all NBA defensive team. I think I want to say at 36, 37, somewhere in there. So when they get to kicking off all this longevity, blah, 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 I'm like, okay, well, Tim Duncan won a championship in the 90s, 1999. He won 3 in the 2000s. Then he won another one in the 2010s, ironically destroying the guy we're talking about by a 15-point margin. So I'm like, how do y'all just forget about Tim Duncan? It was Popovich and everybody else. And no, okay, so now we changing the argument. Gotcha. But my response to what you're saying, when you annihilate their accumulative stats and whatever numbers they want to throw out there, they're going to move the goalpost to longevity. Cool. When they move the goalpost, I enter Tim Duncan. Now it's, but he only put up 20 points and yada yada. Well, did he win? Oh, well, he had the best players. Really? I'm like, what? Tim Duncan won 2 championships without another top 75 player. I don't think LeBron's done that. I think he may have won 1, but Kyrie Irving was a consensus top 75 player. Video evidence is out there. I mean, they pulled his name, but still, the fact remains the same that no matter what argument you use, if it's longevity, there's a guy that's better than him from what I've seen. If you use the statistical output, there's several guys better than him from what I've seen. And when you just use the overall better player, just the approach to the game and just going out there, I would take 7 or 8 guys over him. So no matter which way they try to spin the narrative, like all of his guys from Clutch Sports, there's an easy way to counter it. I mean, it's comical at this point because when I see these guys like going to these extremes, I'm like, bro, if you have to expend all of that energy and you have to make up all of these reasons and all of these parameters, like, bro, it's not the GOAT. Just leave it alone because whoever the greatest player is, just put the film on and let's decide. Like Angry Old Hoop said, I wouldn't mind playing a LeBron fan in a one-on-one setting because if we play a 7-game series, which I'm going to win 4-0, I'm not bragging. I'm just letting y'all know. They're going to be focused on, I got the most points in a 4-game series, but I beat you. Well, it don't matter. Fine. Take the stats. I want the wins. That's my take on that one.
Rex, what do you got to say about this?
All right. Well, one thing is there's a lot of wrong numbers being thrown about in the chat.
Chat, he's always in the chat.
Although you hit 100 messages in a half hour.
Yeah.
But Nuggets fan was saying LeBron has 4 chips in 8 years. He has 4 championships in 10 years, I believe. First one was in 2010, was it not?
No,
And
that
then-
was 2011, 12. He said championships.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was 11, 12 when they beat the Thunder.
12.
They didn't. Who won
Yeah.
in 2010?
2010, the Mavericks. That's hey, shout out to
No,
NBC
2010.
Sports.
That's
The
11.
Lakers won in 2010. Mavericks won in
They did?
2011.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. And then, but he was responding to, they were talking about Magic winning 5 and 10 years. Magic won 5 and 9 years.
Yeah, 9 years.
Yeah. They lost in the 10th year to Detroit. And Detroit's first. But anyway,
Pass the blame to teammates.
I mean, this all just seems so just ironic to me because, I mean, I knew nothing of LeBron in the last decade until this live stream that we have every week got me to start watching. And it's like, okay, well, they're talking about LeBron, and I saw him when he was young. So I've started watching not just highlights, but Angry Old Hoops fan, been watching his lowlights too, because highlights don't tell a story. I was watching the highlights. I've been watching lowlights, watched large portions of some games, and he really, they say, oh, he's going to be the next Jordan. Then they say, no, he's not the next Jordan. He's the next Magic. He's more like Magic. Neither is correct. He essentially is more like Oscar. But now in retrospect, after looking at every year of his career and looking and going back, really his game is more like Wilt in that he dominates off his physical ability. I don't see any real improvement in his game in 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, 22 years, because first time I watched him, he was in high school. And he essentially plays the same way. I mean, his shooting percentage has gotten a bit higher from certain spots on the floor. But essentially, he gets, 3/4 of his points in the paint. He has not improved as a free throw shooter in 2 decades. Magic, actually improved in free throw shooting to the point that he led the NBA late in his career.
Yep.
I see no growth. And I think a lot of that comes down to he was spoon-fed from the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
He's the chosen. I mean, he had that tattooed on his body before he even got to the NBA. So he was being told that by someone from a very early age. And he has put so much emphasis in his health and his longevity. I did not say durability. I said longevity. And that's his priority. He wants to make the name for the future. He's a lot like, for those of you that know the Iliad, the story of Achilles, and that he wanted his name to resound for 1,000 years. That to me is LeBron. He's doing all of this for legacy, in that he wants you to be able to look back generation when he's old and grandfather, great grandfather, whatever. Hopefully he lives to be 100, and he won't be in the NBA that long though. And
maybe
it looks like he wants people to see the huge accumulation of numbers in the ranking in each position. And that's so much like Wilt. Wilt scored like a maniac until he got the record. Then he stopped and decided it would be cool to lead the league in assists. So he did that. But the reason why I put others ahead of Wilt is because Wilt never put it together all at one time. You know what I mean? And I see that so much with LeBron. The same thing. He'll have moments where, like when he shut down MVP Derrick Rose in the playoffs, going for, the game-winning shot, and he couldn't even get it. He ended up putting up an off-balance air ball because LeBron was just locked him up. Okay, that's fantastic. Why did we only see that 13 years ago? Why? There's no consistency of output. I would love to be able to chart all of his stats and see how consistently he racks up these stats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, how many times, and using Jordan again, just because this is a Jordan channel, so y'all will know what I'm talking about. How many times did you see Jordan in a nip and tuck close game go for huge numbers? That was when he went for huge numbers, was it not?
Yep.
Whenever he went for big numbers, it was always in a tight game where he kept going to the well because he knew he was the best scoring option. And he was taking it on his back. How many times seen LeBron's big number games were they nip and tuck games where they were eking out those points every possession? Like, I know he did that with Detroit when he was young.
Mm-hmm.
What was it, 25 of 26 or something points in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, it was 25.
Yeah, I mean, he's done it. This is the thing. He is great.
Mm-hmm.
He is all-time great. But there's so many holes there that can be poked at.
Yeah.
That you just can't stick your thumb in and clog that hole. It's just, I don't see it. I see him fumble the ball so much. He's the all-time leader in turnovers. He has never improved at free throws. He's still in year 21. A teammate will make a mistake. He goes through all the histrionics, throwing up with a hand, shaking his head and everything. When have you ever seen him grab a teammate who's made a mistake, get him in the friendly headlock and tell him in the ears, okay, we're going to get over this, get in the game, get your mind straight, let's go.
Never.
That's what leaders do.
Mm.
Personally, and I've only seen a small amount, I admit that, I don't see that. And if you can't lead your own team, you can't tell me you're the leader ever.
Well said. You got anything else to say, Rex?
He's the greatest of sometimes.
You got anything else to say, Rex, or you good for Robin?
I think I've said plenty. I'm sure everyone's tired of hearing me.
Robin, what you got to say about what everyone has said?
Yeah, well, I mean, excuse me, everybody said a lot of good things right there. And for me, once again, this all comes down to a similar, scenario. It's the inconsistency of LeBron James. Rex and everybody's been talking about LeBron James' lack of inconsistent overall game, his lack of development over the years. Once again, that goes to what? Him not wanting to put in the work to work on his game, things of that nature. When I see people in the chat and we hear people bring up guys like Will Chamberlain, and we hear people bring up guys like Jerry West, guys who had lost more than they won, so to speak, when it mattered most. The one thing that we must remember that a lot of the LeBron James fans and a lot of the New Age fans seem to forget as it relates to LeBron James and the 4-6 record and why it's so significant. The reason why it's significant is because LeBron James has played on super teams that he himself put together his entire career. So what that does is it allows us to highlight the fact that LeBron James has struggled when it matters most. That puts more of the onus on him. Because what does that once again highlight? The fact that LeBron James does not maximize his teammates to the best of their abilities, even though these teams are supposed to be built around him. He does not get the most out of these guys. So it leads him to have a 4-6 record, to be inconsistent. We can't apply that same logic to a Jerry West or a Will Chamberlain, because when we think about a Will Chamberlain who won in 1967, who just so happened to break up the Bill Russell dynasty, the streak they had going, right? It was Will Chamberlain's team who actually broke that streak. We must remember these things. But it was also Will Chamberlain realizing that I don't have to dominate the ball on offense. I can also dominate the game rebounding and playing elite level defense. This is how I can dominate the game. And that's what Will Chamberlain decided to do. And they were successful that way. It's the same thing that the same way they approached it when he was on the Lakers. He did not dominate the offensive end. He dominated the boards and he dominated on the defensive end, which allowed the other guys around him to be successful, which allowed them to win. So we can't really say the same thing about LeBron James because he's never shown that propensity to adjust his game, to adapt, to allow his teammates to be successful, to fit into a system, to work on his overall game. He doesn't do these kinds of things. He's never done this. He doesn't put in the work. So when you talk about the numbers and the longevity now, what do we highlight? The fact that LeBron James has not played defense since he was 28. This man has not been on an all-defensive team in his 30s. Are you kidding me? But you want to talk about longevity? That doesn't speak to longevity to me. You've made not even an all-defensive second team. Meanwhile, we're playing in the softest era for defense in the history of the world. You can't make an all-defensive second team in the last 10 seasons. He's 39, about to be 40. Never made an all-defensive team in his 30s. So that goes to the lack of effort, the lack of consistency. LeBron James hasn't won an MVP since he was 28 years old, but they talk about longevity. Yes, LeBron James has been consistent. He's played consistently, but he hasn't done anything consistently, which is why he has no hardware, which is why his championships that he's won are questioned at best. 2020, we all question. 2016 is kind of suspicious. So the longevity numbers don't hold up to the overall resume, the video footage that we see of LeBron James. And this is why the 4-6 record is bigger than Jerry West's 1-8 or Will Chamberlain and his finals record and things of that nature.
One thing, yeah, to what you guys are saying, and I want to go specifically back to what Rex was saying about him not developing his game. The only thing I could think you could argue, in layman's terms, I'm sure he's gotten better in some capacity over time just from experience, but to specifically work and see a vast improvement in his game, the only thing I could think of that he's gotten better at is 3-point shooting. That's it. But the reason why, I want to talk about the why, or what I perceive as the why. I believe he just doesn't have the confidence to go and explore the game of basketball, how to understand it better, how to play it better, how to be a better player. I think that he's went and he's taken his time and has leaned on his natural ability to echo what Rex has said particularly, and work with that. And it's great. He is an all-time great. He's one of the greatest of all time, just to amplify that statement. However, the thing that makes people the greatest is by adapting their game, making it better, and doing things that they're not used to doing. Even to what Robin was saying with the Wilt Chamberlain. I think there's a real argument that Wilt Chamberlain is greater than LeBron James. What did he do? Once he realized the system or the way he played wasn't working, he decided to play different and played more like, as an example, Bill Russell, or played more of a team-oriented game where he was passing the ball, not scoring as much, integrated himself into the team versus just dominating and putting up 100-point games or multiple 70-point games, averaging 50 points per game. LeBron, from what I've seen, has not vastly changed his game over the entirety of his career. He's done well. He's done very well. However, what if he changed his game to go and it enabled him to be a winner more often than it has? I mean, it's a big what if. Maybe the way he's playing is the right way, and he just luck, time, circumstance, environment. It just wasn't going to work out. However, I think there's a confidence issue of trying things. What do you have to say about that, AOH? If I can drag you up here. There you go.
I got to say, I fantasize about being able to get my hands on Wilt Chamberlain footage and doing what I can do today. You know, look at downloads, look at it in high definition, because I'm curious why he failed against Kareem and some others in situations, being as dominant as he was at the time. I'd like to just be able to see for myself exactly what went down there. I mean, not only was he that tall, he supposedly benched 500 pounds with those long arms. That is crazy.
That was confirmed by Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That's crazy. And his high jumping and, you know, his track and field stuff. As far as adapting your game, LeBron doesn't respond well to adversity. And, he shrinks in adversity. And the few times that, in my opinion, you guys know I really don't like LeBron. The times that he has had quote unquote success, he's kind of been helped. The rest have given him some confidence. Defense gets legislated out of the game. So there's him not being able to adapt and develop his game. There's also when things aren't going well for him, you see him shrink away, or you see the tide suddenly turn. In my opinion, often via officiating like that. Who was it? Was it Rex talking about the Derrick Rose Bulls? Man, that was some of the the worst officiating. That was painful. I can still remember that. And guess what? I bet you can develop your confidence when you're seeing the other team isn't allowed to play defense against you. I'd feel a lot better about shooting my jump shots when I've seen the refs are going to punish the other team when they challenge me. Did I answer what you wanted me to answer?
No, you're good. Yeah, no, it's good. Hoop Guy, what do you got to say about it?
Yeah, so what you were saying about if he would have had a different mindset, and I've been on record of saying this too, you have to look at the magnitude of what type of player are you, what is your player archetype, and Rex hit it like the nail on the head. Hey Rex, I think you a carpenter. You ain't been telling us that. But LeBron to me has a semi Oscar Robertson, Wilt Chamberlain style of play. But again, in order to maximize your teammates and get the best out of them, you as the quote unquote best player must modify your style of play to suit your team. And that is the problem with the guy that we're speaking about, because he wants to have it where no matter what, he's in a win-win in his mind and in the minds of the people who are spinning the narrative for him in the background. Because as if he can put up all the astronomical numbers and they win, well, that's the first thing they're going to say. Oh, we've never seen a performance like this. But on the flip side, when you lose, well, LeBron had a great game. He just doesn't have any help. No, I don't want to hear that. You have to figure out, how am I going to fit into this system, i.e. Bill Russell? Okay, do y'all need me to go out here and play great defense, be a monster on the boards and, just score within the floor of the offense? Or do you need me to go out here and lead the team in assists, circa 1965 playoffs, and get to the championship? I believe when you have that approach to just go out there and do what the team needs you to do, that's going to be a ripple effect, because your role players are going to know, okay, hey, our number one guy, our leader, he's going out there laying it all on the line. Let's do the same. But you cannot go out like the 2018 finals. Okay, yeah, JR made a bonehead play, cool. But why do they never applaud JR for slowing down Andre Iguodala in the 2016 finals for him to get that block shot? It's almost like they selectively pick and choose, when they want to blame a teammate, because we know JR is known for those type of situations. Okay, LeBron, go grab him by the, you know the camera's going to be on you. So go put your arm around him. Hey, bro, shake the play off. All right. Hey, look, just put that in the next play mentality. Let's go out here and let's get this job done, right? You come out there, so you set the tone as the best player like Kobe Bryant did 2008 Olympics. Hey, I want to guard the other team's best player. Your teammates are going to follow you. But again, you have to establish that from day one. So you're giving them an example to follow. You're giving them a blueprint to follow. So when you come down to those pressure moments, I really feel like had LeBron developed his game, like you said, he wouldn't look like a deer in the headlights, when there's 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter and either he's down by 4 or, you can like cut the lead into like 2, like last night, not last night, the night after the Kobe Bryant statue, that same night. There were moments where LeBron James had no go-to move and the offense was just stagnant. I know one play, he took an ill-advised 3. I mean, he shot the 3 like, bro, your shoulders weren't square, your feet weren't like perpendicular. You just threw it up like, what? Then there's one shot he come around there, like a simple mid-range, just a 1-2 dribble pull-up. You hit it off the backside of the backboard. Like, dude, what are you doing? Then there's a pick-and-roll play that Austin Rivers gave him the ball. I mean, he's already in motion going to the rim, just blows that layup. Like, he doesn't practice those moments, and you can tell, because when a person practices those moments, they look comfortable. He never looks comfortable in those pressure situations. And like Rick said earlier, his go-to is always well, I'll make the right play. No, if you lose the game, that's not the right play. Make the winning play. If you know you're the best chance, take the shot. Just take a 1-2 quick dribble pull up. Hey, pump fake, get a guy off balance, make him foul you. I mean, there's so many scenarios other than just driving in the lane and just kicking the ball out when you know the defense has done film study knowing, okay, when this guy drives in from this side of the floor, he's going to pass him more than he's going to shoot it. They're waiting on that play. But then you want to say you made the right? No, absolutely not. So, no, Dart, I'm with you. I do feel like if he'd had a different mindset and a different approach, we really wouldn't even be having this conversation. We'd probably be saying like, yo, this guy about to win his 7th championship. But seeing that he never put the work in to improve on his weaknesses, this is why we're talking about this whole thing right now. So that's my take on that.
Can I jump in on what God said?
Yeah, sure. Real fast. Well, actually, just real fast, Angry Hoops, and I'll let you go. Stan, since you did not ask a specific question, I'll let Robin address it once it's his turn. But Robin, if you want to thank him real fast before AOH you go. He super chatted Robin another $10. Robin is being blessed today with super chats.
Salute.
Thanks for the stream, fellas. Hopefully more can happen as the season goes along for educational purposes, of course. Robin, you have anything to say real fast?
That's
Stan?
right. He knows it's for educational purposes, man. And I see we're going to have to educate some of these fools in the chat, man. I let my man AOH go. Yo, once again, Stan, yo, much respect, man. I'm truly humbled.
All right, AOH, let me drag you up here. What do you got to say?
Well, Hoops God mentioned the J.R. Smith thing twice, and it's a great example of him being more interested in showing the world that someone else effed up rather than gathering his mental strength and preparing for overtime. And something else that people don't talk about that, and you guys correct me if I don't understand this correctly. You know, this year we had that controversial play where LeBron James was allowed to call a timeout while Austin Reeves had the ball and didn't even have possession. Why couldn't LeBron James have called timeout when J.R. Smith had the ball? Why is it only J.R. Smith's fault? And why later on the bench, as LeBron continued his antics of making sure the world saw how disappointed he was with his team, he acted surprised again. He leaned over and found out whether or not they really did have a timeout. And then he just throws himself backwards on the bench. I mean, honestly, it looked like a toddler. It looked like a toddler. So wait a minute. So did LeBron know, or did he not know what the situation was? How is J.R. Smith the only one getting reamed for maybe not knowing the timeout situation there? But LeBron was certainly happy for the world to focus on J.R. Smith rather than focus on getting the job done after that.
Oh, of course. Yeah, that's his MO.
That's what I wanted to say. Thanks for letting me jump in there.
Muted.
Can't hear.
Oh, my bad. No, I was saying I put you off on the bottom because you had taken a pause. So did you have anything more to say before I let Rex answer that specifically, since he's next in the shoot?
Oh, no. Thanks for letting me jump in there with that real quick.
Absolutely, man. Rex, what do you got to say?
Well, first thing, to Zach in the comments, dude, with the name Clipper, Zach, you're the last person to be talking smack. All right. If you're a Clippers guy, you're the last one to be talking anything about basketball. To the point at hand. Well, I mean, a lot of this, the mentality, what we were talking about, like what was your question specifically? Is Dart there?
Sorry, I went to go use the bathroom real fast.
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. No,
okay, exactly. What was the question?
Do you think that LeBron is lacking confidence to change his game? Do you think he was leaning on his natural abilities? It was more of an emphasis, to your point, of him not changing his skill set due to confidence.
Not confidence. He has plenty of confidence in himself. Like with Wilt, okay, this was the story with Wilt, that he would get smaller at the most crucial moments. And my next door neighbor for years had grown up with Wilt. I only saw Wilt play live once in his final year. But later on, I ended up living next door to a high school friend of his who I quizzed weekly to find out everything. And it was confirmed. He showed me the high school yearbook. Wilt cared about basketball. Wilt cared about winning. But Wilt cared more about being loved. And he found out early in sports. This is why he loved track and field more than any other sport, was because you don't directly, the events that he excelled in, you did not compete directly against others. When you do the high jump or the long jump, you all don't jump at the same time and see who gets further. You jump one at a time. You're the only one. He was constantly ridiculed and picked on for bullying smaller players all his life. And he hated the moniker of being the bully. That's why he had a book, and he had the famous quote that everybody knows: nobody roots for Goliath. He always shrunk, not always, but usually shrunk in the biggest moments, because he had that mental thing of, even if he succeeded, he knew he was going to be made the villain. And he hated being made the villain more than anything in this world. He loved being everybody's friend. He was a great guy, very magnanimous, very cordial, loved everybody. And he did not like that moniker. Now, you bring that to LeBron. LeBron, and I hate to get personal, I've said this before, and I don't like saying it because it's not my place. And if LeBron ever said you're full of it, I'd say yes, sir. But LeBron did not grow up with a father figure in his life. He did not grow up with James Jordan and Dolores Jordan. He did not grow up with Larry Jordan. He does not have the same makeup as a human being. Jordan had every thought that LeBron has. Difference being, when Jordan was playing Little League and teammate would mess up and he'd flail around and kick the dirt and get angry, he had someone there to pull him aside and say, look, son, you can think that all you want, but you do not show it.
Yep.
Do not say it. You can think it all you want. You can believe it in your heart, but you don't say it out loud. No one's ever told LeBron that. He's been allowed to act it out since childhood because of his outrageous physical abilities in this game. He's always been given a pass. He's still always given a pass for this type of behavior, because no one with the big britches on has ever sat him down and said, you don't do that. And that's where it comes from. It's not confidence. It's upbringing. He's been allowed to act this way his whole life, and he's not going to change.
Hey, Dark, can I chime in on what Rick said just real quick?
Yeah.
So, and I know we were having this discussion a while back. Rick, you said something that's very impactful. There is a different makeup when you have that strong father in the home, because not only Jordan, but we could go down the list: MJ, Kobe, Magic, Bird, Shaq, like all of them, Tim Duncan. You notice they do not have those passive aggressive moments with their teammates like that, right? Now, we know Kobe and Shaq had their feud, but for the most part, it was held in order. When they got out there on the floor, they handled their business. And what you were saying, it makes me think about my upbringing, because I would go out there thinking I'm having a great game. My dad still be like, hey, you could have ran a little faster on that play. Hey, you could have jumped a little high. Like, no matter what I did, because he never wanted me to feel like I can't get better. And yes, when you don't have that patriarchal figure in the home to push you a little further, to like make sure, hey, you don't demean your teammates. Well, when you grow up, what have you been accustomed to doing? Throwing these temper tantrums. Nobody's checked you. Nobody's been like, hey, man, you're doing too much. So
now that he, like you said, he's been coddled his entire career, it's too late now. There's no turning back. But no, that's another reason why I put those guys in a separate category, because it was their childhood, their upbringing, all the way from the time they started playing sports until they got to the pinnacle. You know, when you have that certain figure in the home that won't allow you to just rest on your laurels, well, it's gonna yield different results. But I appreciate that, Doc. That's all I want to say on that part.
Well, to take it one step further very quickly, it's not just the parents in the home. The next step for players that are elite growing up without a parent, that father figure, who always seems to become that father figure?
The
A
coach.
great coach.
Yep.
LeBron has never had that. How many coaches has he gone through? And none of them have been great. That's why I constantly insist. His
Stop it, Rex.
legacy
Don't
would
get
be
me
different
started
if
right
he
now.
went.
Don't start that, man. Don't start with the coach.
Hey,
Great
Spo,
coaches.
yeah,
Eric
Spo was
Spoelstra's
a good one.
a great coach.
Yeah.
He wanted him fired. He can't
Yeah.
handle a real man and a real authority figure.
That was my point.
Yeah, I get where Rex
That's
coming
the
from.
point
Yeah.
I was making. Thank you.
Spoelstra's a great coach, though.
No, he wasn't. Not at that time.
At that time, what do you mean? At that time, he could have made him. Was Phil Jackson a great coach at that time? Stop the nonsense.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Stop the nonsense. Keep it about the facts.
I agree. No,
All I
Spo
do
was
is
a great
talk
coach.
facts.
Yeah,
No,
Spo
you
was a
don't.
great
I have to
coach.
correct you sometimes to get old.
Right.
Hey,
You got it. You forget. I'm not a fan. I don't care. I don't care.
Currently, Ty Lue and Spoelstra are referred to as two of the best coaches in the NBA repeatedly, and LeBron had both of them.
And another little quick point. David Blatt was 19 games over 500 when he got fired. So I'll just leave that up there.
Yeah, that was crazy. Robin, what's your take on the what everyone has said? And does LeBron have the confidence to attempt to change his game to become better?
But we went into a little bit of the weeds there, you know, with the personal stuff and the father figures and stuff. But off of that, I'll say this. For me, when we think about those aspects, for me, the problem for LeBron James, for me personally, when we think about that kind of stuff, is that he has never learned from these mistakes. Every grown-up, I feel, no matter what walk of life you come from, we all grow up with the understanding, right and wrong. And what happens? You learn from your mistakes, so to speak. For me, LeBron James has never learned from his mistakes. So he's never showed humility. He's never been humble. None of this stuff. Because like you guys said, he's never been held accountable. He's never been held to a standard. And that's what we are doing now. When I tell everybody we are standing up, we're standing up to his nonsense. We're going to hold these guys accountable. We're going to hold them to a standard. And that's the problem for LeBron James. So when we think about him and working on his game all these years, why would he work on his game? We're not holding him to a standard. Every time you turn the TV, everyone's praising LeBron James. He can do no wrong. I remember Kendrick Perkins during the 2021-22 season when he put together Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, Anthony Davis, Rajon Rondo. They had all these guys. Kendrick Perkins came on ESPN and said, the Lakers are going to win 70 games, at least 70 games this season. He said that with a straight face. And what happened? They won 35 games. No one held this man to a standard. They blamed everybody else. No one gives a damn. That's the problem right now. Why would you ever work on your game when all of your fans point to your stats no matter whether you win or lose? You're in a win-win situation. You said something earlier, Dart, about LeBron James' three-point shooting being an aspect we could point to about him overall adjusting or improving his game. It's a lie. The overall three-point shooting in the league has gone up. LeBron James has not. Let's remember something. When you watch the video footage of LeBron James shooting these three-point shots, he's literally standing there wide open. They're allowing him to shoot these shots. There's no one playing defense on LeBron James at the three-point line. Are you kidding me? They're allowing him to shoot this. The man airballs free throws. So when we think about those aspects, there's nothing that he's done, and why would he do to improve his game when no one's expecting anything from him except for him to be, hey, he averaged this many stats. The man was down 3 games to nothing in the 2017 NBA Finals. They interviewed this man, and what did he say? I'm averaging a triple-double. That was his response. You're down 3 games to nothing, dude, and your response is, I'm averaging a triple-double. Once again, no reporter is going to call him out for that nonsense or hold him to a standard. And this is what's going on right now. It's been going on his entire career. Why would he ever do it? You got Rich Paul talking about he's got antlers, talking about I could shoot with Steph Curry and Reggie Miller. These are the kinds of people he surrounds himself with. It's a joke.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, especially with the 3-point line, is that I guess part of it, I agree, is an aspect of the culture of the game changing to that. And he has that little look down at the ground, step back thing. He gets enough space there. So I get what you're saying. And I may be mistaken at this, but I do believe that his 3-point percentage has gone up even with the volume of shooting. But I get your point. I'm not saying you're wrong. With that said, with what all you guys said, the one thing that I hear a narrative about is that LeBron has never had enough help, and it was brought up earlier about how he's designed a lot of these teams specifically after, or had input in the design of these teams after his first stint with the Cavs, which I believe he did have input as well, but that's besides the point. Mainstream wise, people just attribute it to, the Heat and past that. Now, I want to hear your guys' takes of, does that entail that he actually does or does care about winning a championship? And do you think there has been a change since then, specifically once he got to the Lakers? Do you think that him going to the Lakers was kind of like his pseudo retirement from wanting to win championships, as much as he had in the past when he started talking about chasing ghosts, etc.? And I'm gonna bring Angry Old Hoops up. Angry Old Hoops says he has to go. And before, if you want to answer this take, please do. But I just want to thank you for coming on, and you're welcome to come on in the future. Are you interested in coming on in future podcasts? Uncommon Sense has said that he would like to come on as many as possible, schedule permitting.
LeBron went to.
Would you like to come on the podcast in the future?
No.
And also, thank you again. No,
No, this sucked. No, of course I'll be back. It was awesome. Just hearing Robin go with his energy is like a morning cup of coffee. So we'll do that on Sundays to wake me up.
nice.
The LA thing, man, that's a good one, because I kind of thought it was a sort of a semi-retirement, like, well, here, I'm going to have played for this many franchises, plus who wouldn't, with his Hollywood thing and his businesses, LA is a good spot. And, who wouldn't rather live in LA than, oh, I'm going to offend Cleveland people. I'm sorry. I don't know enough about the place to say that, but, but at the same time, I heard he also probably thought it was going to be a cakewalk. The East was finally starting to look a little bit like a real conference, but it was just an absolute joke the entire time he was over there. And wasn't he supposed to get even an extra superstar, like to help his cakewalk in addition to the Anthony Davis? Wasn't he just planning on it being a total cakewalk with everyone he assembled over there? And
What year?
I mean, real fast, he did have very good veterans like Rajon Rondo and Dwight Howard on his team, as if they, not to say that they were not past their prime, but I mean, they did have they've had stacked teams, quote unquote. You know what I mean? In relative perspective,
they've been crazy stacked. I've been working on one for that 2020 team video. Actually, a lot of his. I'm going to release these things in the summertime, because during the season I can't keep up with LeBron's ridiculous antics from game to game. I'm like, did this really just happen again?
Exactly.
Like, is he really? I mean, I can't keep up. I don't have to go back and dig through his career. I'm like, Jesus. I see the social media posts. I'm like, there's no fucking way this guy did this too. Did he really? And he did. But I think Robin listed the players on that team. it's fun. And that there was a prediction of how many games that they would win, and they were a super team right up until things aren't going well, and all of a sudden they were old, and everyone is calling them dinosaurs. And yet the same people on another team, the media will be talking about, it's really important, the experience that they're bringing to the team, the championship experience and leadership as some of the older guys, they can help be mentors, et cetera, et cetera. Nope, on LeBron's team, they're just old. They don't bring any of that. Or they're complaining, oh, he's got all these youngsters, where's he has to carry all these young guys that don't know how to play. I mean, it's always they're too young or they're too old. There's none of the positives being said. And if it wasn't just a non-stop spewing of excuses, you could maybe stop and think, okay, maybe this excuse has a little bit of validity, but it's never ending. As long as it's favoring LeBron James, that's the direction that they take with it, which makes it suspicious in itself. Anyways, it was a pleasure. I enjoyed being here, guys. I got to go 49er pre-party. So I will be back.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you. I will email you in the future about next week specifically. And for everyone in the chat who saw us last week on Common Sense, I'll repeat it, is interested in coming on as available as possible as well. So thank you again, sir, Mr. AOH, Angry Old Hoops. For y'all who may have not have heard of him, please go check out his page. He's got a lot of sarcasm. I feel like in some ways we're similar in that aspect. A lot of some dry humor and stuff.
Hey, Dart, real quick. Hey, Angry Old Hoops, I want to salute you for that fake hand injury, how you broke it down and then you had the arrow pointing. Like, this is a freshly broken hand, yet he grabs the chair, rebuttons his blazer, then he picked up something else. Yo, I sent that. Nobody could explain it. I'm like, hold on. You breaking your hand, you not finna be doing all this. Like, come on, man. Y'all gotta stop. Like, bro, this dude makes so many excuses. It's almost impossible to want to root for him. But yeah, shout out to you for that video, man.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and he does that so often. Like, that's what's crazy about LeBron James. That alone should have been enough. Should have been enough for people to no longer take him seriously. But he does it. Next thing you know, he's doing it again. And you just have to put it in the LeBron James archives of absurd behavior.
Yep. Thank you again, sir, for coming. And I look forward to seeing you in the future.
All right, guys. Later.
Thanks a lot, man.
Indeed,
Bye-bye.
indeed. Salute.
Hoop guy, what do you got to say about all this?
Okay, so hold on, Dart. Refreshing my memory. So we're talking about him going to LA for winning, but also did he have enough help? Was that the original question?
When do you think the transition was? And I brought up the going to the Lakers, where it seems like maybe he stopped caring about winning championships.
So when honestly, this is just not my take on this. I don't even believe it was the transition to LA. When Golden State acquired Kevin Durant, and the same guy we're talking about now, LeBron James, was basically, just had a on-air rant after the Pelicans beat them down by like 25. And this is when Anthony Davis was still there. He was complaining about, oh, we're top heavy as hell and blah, 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 wham, wham, wham. And I'm like, bro, wait a minute. You got Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, two guys that, well, Kyrie was already there, but you had them trade away Andrew Wiggins for Kevin Love, who was second in PER his last year in Minnesota before he came to Cleveland. You had these two perennial superstars, and then everybody else that the Cavs assembled with J.R. Smith, Iman Shumpert, the 3-and-D guys, Tristan Thompson, great rebounder. I don't know if Mozgov was still there, but you're complaining about having another playmaker. Like, to me right there, it showed me this guy don't want to compete. Like, he wants to stack the decks, and if the decks don't get stacked, he just going to go out there and just play. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I'm segueing into the 2017 finals. When he allowed Kevin Durant to just hit that transition three, when he didn't even give like a modicum of an effort to try to impede his progress or contest that shot, it's almost like, bro, you just let Kevin Durant facialize you, bro. Like, you're not competing. And then you hear in the post game how Barkley and Isaiah Thomas and Grant Hill, like, they were just disgusted in the effort he displayed. And like Robin said in that same series, you're down 0-3 and they ask you, well, I feel like I'm averaging a triple-double. I'm having a great series. It's like those operative words that you pick up on. Like, man, this dude ain't trying to compete. This dude trying to chase his stats. Then we already know how 2018 played out with the whole fake hand injury. I ain't got to get into that. But when he made his move to LA, now I know a lot of people were, oh, the Lakers were the 4th seed, yeah, in December. I mean, I don't know what game y'all watching or what NBA y'all watching, but you can be a 4th seed in the West, and within 2 games, you could be a 7th seed. So that ain't really moving me. But this is what LeBron says after missing 17 games. He's going to activate playoff mode, like Rick said earlier. Why are you activating playoff mode when you should always be in playoff mode? Okay, you activate playoff mode, you subsequently miss the playoffs. Okay, now we got to get more help. So then they get Anthony Davis. They were trying to get Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, I believe, but they pretty much threw a monkey wrench in their plans when they signed with the Clippers. Now, the reason I'm saying that, nobody expected the Clippers to make the playoffs that year. The same year LeBron activated playoff mode and missed the playoffs. They went against the Golden State Warriors without their best player, which is Tobias Harris, and were able to take the Warriors 6 games with Kevin Durant, something LeBron James never did while Kevin Durant was wearing a Golden State Warrior jersey. So these things are just connecting the dots. Like, yo, this dude don't want to compete. Like, he just going out here for his stats. Now, when the 2019-2020 season rolls around, okay, they get the luxury of having 3 or 4 month rest before they create this bubble. And then a lot of the guys who didn't even want to come down in that bubble and compete, I mean, you're not playing the regular playoff atmosphere, the intensity, the pressure, the jet lag from flying, having that hostile crowd heckling you. Like, you don't have to deal with any of that. And then you win this championship, which to me is that's an exhibition tournament. You have to say, I want my damn respect. You don't ask for your respect. You go out there and take your respect. Then you pretty much come back the very next year with different guys, because I guess in his mind he felt like there wasn't enough help. You go get Marc Gasol and Andre Drummond, and you get bounced in the first round. You're the defending champs. You get bounced in the first round. I mean, I'm looking at that and I'm like, I can't look at any particular game in that first round against the Suns that he was speaking life into the team. Okay, yeah, AD got hurt, big deal. You got to everybody else, hey, next man up mentality. And to me, it's just like, if he doesn't have all those guys right there readily available, then he's not going to go out and compete. But it was another thing that I wanted to mention. The media, like you guys said, or I think Angry Hoop said it, when they first got all those guys together, Rondo, Melo, Dwight, oh yeah, they're going to win 70 games. But somewhere when they see that they're struggling, I call them the spin masters. They got to spin the narrative now. Oh, well, they're just too old, and I don't know who put this together. Well, let's talk about the culprit. LeBron James was the one that was in Rob Pelinka's ear. Hey, we need this guy. We need this guy. We need this guy. But now that things are on a downturn, oh, I ain't had nothing to do with that. Oh, so now you want to clean your hands of the guys that you were vouching for. Even Carmelo Anthony came out and said, bro, you the GM. Like, that ain't what he said. I'm just, I'm being a little bit more PC. Like, come on, man. You have the power with, like, I would say it's deception. It's how they depict you versus how you're perceived. Because I guarantee y'all, hey, Kevin Durant or anybody else would have been doing all this, the media would lambaste them. But they favor LeBron, so we have to speak favorably about him. And that's all it comes down to. How are you being depicted? Because Kobe Bryant, for the most part, didn't care about all the praise and adulation. So the media depicted him a certain way to the casual viewers who would perceive him based off the media. Now, people who know basketball, like ourselves, the media don't hold any sway on us. So I'm looking at LeBron, no matter what he does, they're going to speak favorably about him. But every now and then, like Shannon Sharp, like Kendrick Perkins, they'll go against the grain. But I guarantee you, as soon as they go against the grain, they're either going to delete that tweet or they're going to issue a formal apology, because as of right now, you cannot say anything confrontational of LeBron James, no matter what the results are, whether winning or losing. That's my take on that.
Real fast, Visible Master says you guys need to get too raw on here. For the people that have just started watching this live stream, I've been making it a point to try and gather the greatest Michael Jordan fan YouTubers together in one place to have the greatest Michael Jordan fan base show on the internet. As you've seen, Robin has been a regular guest before this initiative, if you want to talk about Marvel movies like the Avengers, and then Uncommon Sense, and now Angry Old Hoops, for you guys that have been here, have been on. So I'm willing to reach out to Too Raw for Sports. I'm not sure if he has an email associated with this page, but I'm more than willing to do that. Anyway, Rex, what's your take on all this?
Well, going to LA, that's something that the Lakers do. The Lakers are unique in the NBA in the fact that the owners of the Lakers, the Buss family, this is their only source of income, is the team. Every other team is owned by a billionaire who made their money some other way and has other businesses, and they have a team. This, for the Lakers, this is Jeannie Buss's sole income, is the team and her brother. So to them, success is not always championships. It's the worth of the business dictates their worth directly. So when LeBron signed with the Lakers, the net worth of the Lakers jumped $1 billion. Since the day he signed with the Lakers, the team's value has almost doubled. That's why they wanted him. Chips are great. Chips give you even more publicity and make you even more money, but it's just like down in Dallas with the Cowboys. When I was living in Texas, every year they'd ask Jerry Jones at the end of the year, didn't win the Super Bowl. How much of a failure was this season? And Jerry Jones would always clap back. Well, this is the most valuable NFL franchise. So it's not a failure. Because billionaires think about money, believe it or not.
Rex, you breaking my heart talking about my Cowboys. My bad.
Sorry. Redskin fan growing up. What can I say?
Eagles for life. Let's talk about the NFC. It's just in total. New York Giants, right? We are on all opposing sides anyway.
Yeah. But the point is, the team he was going to is not solely about championships. Their own money is tied into the monetary success of the team. So that plays a bigger role to them. Everyone talks about how the East was weak. And I just watched, while he was talking, I was muted myself, and I was just watching the Phil Handy interview again to make sure I got it right about how he confronted LeBron for coasting during the regular season, and how LeBron gave him the excuse, that he has to be, in optimal shape. I said mid-season, optimal shape for the playoffs. And then he said how he saw him flip that switch and go to a different level. By going to the West with the better teams, he couldn't do that. It changed his way of preparing, his way of working. He had to do his thing differently. So maybe that lowers expectations in his own head. Who really knows? But I think he had lower expectation for all of these reasons when he came out West. But Lakers are known. They had Wilt. Then, they got Kareem. Kareem took Wilt's scoring record. When Karl Malone was getting close to Kareem's scoring record, the Lakers signed him. And then when LeBron got close, they signed him, because the Lakers always want the scoring leader, because that's publicity, that's money.
All right. Robin, what you got to say about all this? You think the Lakers is LeBron James' retirement, coasting cash home, or what do you have to say about what everyone else said too on top of it?
Well, I mean, listen, obviously LeBron James has come to LA to coast out. The man's been standing on defense since he got to LA. He was doing it before he got there, but when he went to LA, it got much, much worse. It became more evident, right? He was doing it right in front of our faces. And what happened? The league had to come up with the flopping guidelines. A lot of people don't talk about LeBron James being the first player to be given a technical foul this season for flopping, right? A lot of people don't want to talk about these things, right? So yeah, obviously LeBron James hasn't really come to LA with the sole purpose to focus on basketball. This is what we alluded to earlier, not being willing to put in the work to win at the highest level. So LeBron James and his fans wonder why he hasn't won, right, consistently throughout his career. He hasn't won an MVP since he was 28. He hasn't made an all-defensive team in his 30s. They wonder why he hasn't done these things, right? And they'll say that he needed more help, right? They'll always blame his teammates, things of that nature. They never put it on LeBron James. Meanwhile, the answers are right there in front of you. LeBron James has never wanted to put in the actual work to be successful at that level, right? You can't play 50, 55 games every season and expect your team to pick up the slack when the team is built around you, right? You can't stand around on defense every single game, have your team playing 4 or 5, and then expect your teammates to pick up the slack for you game after game, right? This goes to the inconsistent nature of the Los Angeles Lakers. So when we see him making movies like Space Jam and some of these other movies, which haven't even done well, if we really think about these things, right? But LeBron James is not doing so well as far as his popularity. To me, it's all smoke screens. He goes out in public, he gets booed. He goes to the 75th anniversary in his hometown of Cleveland. Michael Jordan gets a bigger ovation than he does, by far. So LeBron James, to me, popularity isn't really that great. And him coming to LA has a lot to do with his off-court success, the money, things of that nature. But there's something else I want to talk about that I see people talking about in the chat here. As it relates to what we were talking about with LeBron James working on his overall game. Oftentimes, the LeBron James fans and people in general, we get too wrapped up on the offensive side when we're talking about LeBron James and his lack of overall development, right? We usually point to the offensive game. But we must also focus on LeBron James' lack of defensive consistency, the lack of effort for years now on the defensive end. When we point to the 2011 Eastern Conference Finals against the Chicago Bulls and people point to his defensive efforts against Derrick Rose, I can easily point to the 2011 NBA Finals and his lack of defensive abilities or effort against a Dirk Nowitzki or Jason Kidd or Jason Terry or JJ Barea. I mean, Magic Johnson literally said, can LeBron James stop Jason Terry? So you're telling me this man can guard Derrick Rose in the Eastern Conference Finals, but when it comes to the NBA Finals, he can't stop Jason Terry? What are we talking about here? This goes to the lack of consistency, the effort that LeBron James gives at the highest of levels. We think about the 2014 NBA Finals going against a Kawhi Leonard who had done nothing up until that point. He wasn't a Defensive Player of the Year award winner. He didn't win any All-Star games, none of this stuff. And what ends up happening that series? He dominates a prime LeBron James. Why? Because LeBron James could not D him up and hold him to what? His regular season numbers. Kawhi Leonard like almost doubled his numbers from the regular season. We think about the 2015 NBA Finals. Where was LeBron James against Andre Iguodala? The man who averaged 8 points a game in the regular season doubled his average to 16 points a game in the finals. Once again, where was LeBron James' defensive ability to shut these guys down, man? To play both sides of the ball. It's not about scoring 30 points a game and averaging 7 rebounds and 9 assists. Where's your defensive abilities? When it matters most, you couldn't shut these guys down. And then we think about the obvious ones. Kevin Durant in 2017 and 2018. He could do nothing with this man. Nothing on the defensive end. Kevin Durant's hitting jump shots in his face. Kevin Durant's having a historic finals, averaging like 35 points on like 60% shooting, 45% from 3, 90% from the free throw line. And everyone would tell LeBron James averaged a triple-double. That's all they'll allude to. They never point out LeBron James' lack of defensive consistency or the effort on the defensive end when it matters most. That goes to his lack of overall game and the lack of consistency we're always pointing to. And LeBron James does not care about winning because if he did, he would play defense.
So to piggyback that on that slightly, but to orient it back to what you're talking about in the first part and the initial question is that in my perspective, it does seem like LeBron James has been plainly playing lazier, especially over the last 4 years plus since he went to the LA Lakers. It's kind of funny. I mean, I think it's funny that you could just see that it's not the same type of player. And Rex brought it up before. He's always in mid-season mode, or I mean, and however you want to put it, it doesn't really look like he cares. outside. I'm not saying it never, but there are spots where it's like, dude, like, what are you doing? Are you going to play defense? Are you going to go push, put some pressure on the defense that you're playing against? Because it seems like for the most part, he'll sit out on a 3-point line, do his, at this point, I believe, laughably predictable step back 3-point shot. Which is fine. I mean, I'm not saying I could stop it or anything like that, but like it's kind of funny how much of a tell he has on that. What I'm getting at is that with him being on the Lakers, like you were saying, Robin, man, that's his Space Jam years. That's his Hollywood years. That's his retirement, pseudo retirement years. And I think really that he's taken a step off, or taken some pressure off of the gas pedal that he had in earlier years. And I think it's kind of embarrassing. But I do want to say, I do think that he is, as what today's game is, he is one of the most popular players. I don't think that's disputable. But to jump on your back with what you're talking about in comparison to Michael Jordan, how are you going to be in Cleveland and you get a bigger ovation? I know that there was the issues with him leaving Cleveland twice, which is, maybe that has something to do with it. But you're a modern player now and you're lauded as the GOAT, but you got a guy who retired 20 years ago getting a bigger pop than you from the crowd.
Dart,
I think that
he's the nemesis. Michael Jordan used to customarily break their hearts, and they still cheer for him louder than LeBron. I just wanted to say that.
Oh, that's a great point, man. Absolutely. But yeah, so right now I'm going to open the lines. I'm about to drop the link in my channel's chat. If you can't get to it, you can just come to my channel real fast. If you don't like what I got to say, you don't got to subscribe or anything. Just click the link. But open up the calls. I just want to do some parameters here. If you have a pointed question for one individual, please say who you're asking. If not, we'll go around the panel so they can answer the question. It'll be you ask the question, we'll answer the question. If there's nobody else waiting, then you can ask for follow-on questions or not. But I just want to give the opportunity for anyone who wants to call in to have a chance to call in. If nobody's interested in calling in, we have 131 people on my count in total from all the channels that are going live. Hopefully somebody would like to call in. I'd like to talk to anybody and see if they have any sort of contradictory or things they want to add to what we have to say. But yeah, it's on my channel. It popped up on here on the overall overlay of the chat for everyone's channel. And there it is again. I know you can't click on it, so I've heard before. But yeah. Eagle Trippin says, please don't take a call from that DC dude again.
Please. He knows. Word up, man. Eagle Trippin, man. That's my man right there. He knows the deal.
Hey, DC is the only one that has been calling in. Oh, so
because he wants to get on my nerves, man. We're not doing it again.
So DC is in the back.
He better not say anything about Kobe Bryant, man. I'm not listening to it.
DC, I know you can hear me. Please try to let's try to keep it to a Q&A versus it devolving into an argument.
Hey,
what's
Robin.
up, Poop God?
Robin, I'll be his Huckleberry.
I'm chilling today. I'm chilling.
I'll say this. It's considered an argument because you don't agree with it. I don't mean no disrespect to nobody. You know what I'm saying?
What's up,
I
big
just
dog?
don't. What's up, fellas? First and foremost, what's up, y'all? You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
But I just don't agree. I just don't think it's the greatest player of all time. But let me add something to y'all, to what y'all saying. The LeBron thing, to me, I'm kind of over it because I don't know if you saw in the comments, bro, you don't even need to play hard. So what we looking for as old heads, we are not going to meet that quota no more. Okay. So you can almost just give it up. And I hate to say settle for what you got, but what you got to do is take certain players that you might like for today and say that they play like some of the old ones. Because after a while, what we do is it'll just sound like a whole bunch of complaining. See, I understand LeBron. I'm not gonna call him trash, but I'll say he don't need to work hard because he's the star of the show. He has the media on his line. I mean, no player in this league has to be that kind of player because the game has changed. It's a fast-paced game now. It's more about entertainment than basketball. And I think everybody on this panel can agree with that. It's more about that's the reason why LeBron is the star. Big guy, pause, can run fast, jump up and down. It's more about athletics than a true skill today. And that's what's kind of hurting the league. But, I just think I think sometimes we gotta fall back on the LeBron thing because we're making him a superstar. Okay. And every time I watch everybody's shows, right? This is why LeBron be trolling us. So I think at the end of the day, if we just don't mention his name at all, right? And this is the main thing. Don't ever make a show where you comparing him to Michael Kobe. Because see, when you do that, right, you actually put him on a pedestal that he's nowhere near. So if somebody have a show is does Michael Jordan walk better than LeBron? We can't have that because they're not on the same level.
Hey, DC, I agree with that. That's why I did a long time ago. I stopped comparing him to MJ and Kobe. I'm like, first of all, he ain't even better than Magic. He ain't better than Bird. He's not better than Duncan. I'm like, accolade-wise, he has more success than Hakeem, but player for player, he's not a better player at his position than Hakeem was at center. So I'm right there with you. I don't compare him to them dudes no more. I'm like, they're in a whole separate category.
I do think. And look, I'm just gonna be real. Now, I think he's a better athletic player than somebody like Bird. But I think
No,
Bird has more skills.
yes, athletic wise,
Yeah,
it's not even
contact.
close.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
we're talking
yeah.
about the skill set, the fundamentals, the IQ. Man, he ain't touching Bird.
Well,
Did,
hey,
did
no, look, I don't like him, but I don't think LeBron is that bad of a player. I just think him naming himself and doing, idiot shit is the main reason why we don't like him. And the Nick Wrights, we can't pay attention to his game. You know what I'm saying? My bad.
DC, real fast. Do you have a specific question for the panel?
My question for the panel, y'all ready for this? All right, y'all ain't gonna like this, but I'm gonna do it.
Okay.
Is it a difference between the greatest and the greatest player?
All right. We'll start with Hoop God and we'll go down the line.
You said, is it?
And DC, please let everyone speak before. Yeah.
You
I ain't gonna
said
say nothing. I'm learning my lesson, fellas.
you said, is it a difference between the greatest and the greatest player?
Yeah.
Because the way I'm hearing that, both of those, it's like the question is like it's synonymous with the other. Because if you're the greatest and then you're the greatest player, I don't see a separator now. If you're asking me, is there a difference in the greatest and the best? I would the best way I could answer that is, okay, Kareem has a greater, like, he has more accolades. He accomplished more than Hakeem. But to me, Hakeem is a better player because of his skill set on both sides of the floor. Not to say Kareem wasn't great on both sides, but I think Hakeem surpassed him offensively, defensively. But Kareem has the greater career based off his accomplishments and accolades. So I don't know if that's answering your question, but when you said there's a difference between like the greatest and great, like I don't know. That just kind of, I don't know. I feel like there's greatest and best, but if you're saying greater and greatest, I feel like those two go hand in hand.
Well, I should have said greatest and best.
Oh, greatest and best. That's what you mean. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
greatest and best.
Do you want to follow up with that, Hoop God, before Rex does his take?
Yeah, that's why I was going to say that. I feel like LeBron has a greater career than Larry Bird based off his accomplishments, but I feel like Larry Bird by far is a better player because let's be honest, what offensive weaknesses did Larry Bird have? Zero. Now, defensively, I would give LeBron the edge one-on-one defense. Not saying Bird couldn't hold his own, but with LeBron's athletic ability, yeah, he'll be more favorable. But when it comes to help defense and the off-ball defense, I'm going to give the edge to Larry Bird because I saw him do more based off of the amount of video game film I've watched with both players. But no, when you say best player, better player, I'll take Bird being a better player, just like I take Hakeem being a better player versus Kareem, who has a greater like career, and just like LeBron, who has accomplished more as far as the accolades.
All right, Rex, what's your take on this?
Well, I mean, this is exactly why I don't believe there's a GOAT, because there's all different ways of looking at it. And the reason why none of them are 100% correct and none of the decisions are infallible is because it's a team game. When you isolate one single player's contributions to a team in a sport, taken in and of itself, it really doesn't mean anything because it's only part of a whole. It's what the whole does that matters. All right, you can have the best engine in a race car, but if you got lousy aerodynamics and a lousy driver, you're not winning. All right.
At least you're not talking about hot dog contests.
Well, that too. The most I've got cheese balls. The most dominant player ever is Wilt Chamberlain. The record book proves it beyond a doubt. The most successful player is Bill Russell. 11, titles and 5 league MVPs to go with that. That's the thing that when you talk about the most skilled, well, now you're looking at pretty much eye test only because you really can't compare people's skills directly. If you want to sit there and say, well, Steph Curry is a better shooter than Pete Maravich, you have no real proof. It's just conjecture because we only got to see Pete Maravich shoot threes for a small part of a season, and he shot 67% from 3. So, even if he plays multiple years and he drops 30%, he's still shooting above average. I mean, you can't compare these things. I don't believe in a GOAT, but if I had to say, okay, who is the best player ever, being a team guy, I would have to go with Russell, even though I don't go with Russell because there is no GOAT. But I would say Russell has the best argument because he played his way, dominated his way, and never even led his team, except for a playoff run in scoring, never led his team in assists except for 2 playoff runs, yet was a 5-time MVP. Now, if you're leading the league in scoring, you can get those MVP votes pretty readily. But when you're putting up average offensive stats overall, in your own peers, the guys that are playing with you and against you are voting you the greatest player in the world, I think fans are disrespecting all of those eyewitnesses when they just blow that player off.
Great point.
But what is if you want to call my favorite player was always Bird, because Bird moved like we did. The average guys out on the court. He was I was more athletic than Larry Bird. So to see him dominate without the extreme athleticism, and he was an amazing athlete. He just couldn't run real fast or jump real high. But his hand-eye coordination, his hand quickness was amazing.
Anticipation skills.
Mm-hmm. All of that was amazing. But he didn't have the stuff that was so recognizable on a highlight, But, I mean, he won 3 straight three-point shootouts. The guy had amazing skill.
Real fast, Jason the Kid has been in here saying that we're easily cookable, that we're casuals, all these sorts of things. Jason the Kid, I have dropped the link again, and it seems like you are coming from my channel, so it should be in the live chat of my channel. You're welcome to come in and cook us, as long as you follow the format of that you ask a pointed question to somebody and don't interrupt.
Gordon Disaster.
Yep.
Well, I mean, just like Clipper Zach talking smack with the name Clipper in your name. If you got the kid in your name, you're not going to be smoking none of us.
Clipper Zach is tripping.
Robin, what do you got to say about DC?
I knew he was going to come with some nonsense. I knew he was going to do this, man. And he
Hey,
couldn't
bro,
even
why
get
you
the
always
question
gotta
right. He
be
came
so
out here and fumbled the
disrespectful?
question up.
Just answer the question.
No. Stop talking. It's my turn to speak. Thank you very much. Listen, follow the format. But like
Bully
I said,
guy.
you fumbled your question, and then you don't know if it's the greatest or the best. The bottom line is no one cares about who the best of all time is. It's about who the greatest of all time is. That's what everyone is called. Muhammad Ali called himself the greatest of all time. He never called himself the best of all time. No one cares about being the best. It's about being the greatest, right? Because what you did so good, right? You were the best, right? At so much that you accomplished the most. You were the greatest. You accomplished the most. Your career was the greatest. That's Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan's the best basketball player of all time. He's the greatest basketball player of all time. He's the only basketball player you can clearly say had no weaknesses to his game on both sides of the ball. His intangibles. See, a lot of people forget about the intangibles, man. They worry about the on-court game. They worry about fundamentals, skills, things of this nature. They forget to mention things like intangibles that you cannot be coached on and things of that nature. So many things you're born with, so many things you learn from your parents, so many things you develop. But Michael Jordan had all of those things, man. When Rex talks about Bill Russell, when we talk about Bill Russell winning a lot, absolutely, Bill Russell won a lot. But Bill Russell didn't have the overall game of a Michael Jordan. He just did not. So once again, Michael Jordan is clearly better than Bill Russell, and I can say he's greater than Bill Russell because he accomplished more in less time than Bill Russell did with less. He did more with less. That's undeniable. No matter how we slice it, he accomplished more with less. So you can clearly say he's better. We talk about the Will Chamberlain statistics, the quote-unquote dominance of Will Chamberlain, absolutely. But once again, Will Chamberlain was winning with the statistics, but he wasn't winning the hardware as far as championships go, right? So we can clearly say Michael Jordan was better because he was greater. He did more than Will Chamberlain did. He dominated statistically while also winning. No one's been able to win scoring titles at that pace and win championships and be the best defensive player or one of the best defensive players in the league. Only Michael Jordan's been able to accomplish these things. So once again, the better, the greatest, it doesn't matter who the best or greatest is. Michael Jordan, hands down, and hit the bricks with this nonsense.
All right, real fast. MJ the God is backstage. I see you. I'm going to answer my piece to DC Slim, and then you're up next. Jason the Kid, you do not need to allow your camera. I can't tell you what's wrong if you're having technical difficulties or the such. However, you do not need to have your camera on here. DC Slim does not, and you can toggle it. If you look at this, it's not hard to do it. So you don't have to. You do not have to have your camera. So for DC Slim, your question, is there a difference between the greatest and the best? I think there's an emphatic difference. I think it's a lot easier to identify who the greatest of something is versus who is the best, because the best gets more nuanced. Like Rex was saying, you have to be just in layman's terms, a scout level identifier of talent. You need to understand everybody who's ever played the game, what they do better versus everybody they face, and you still won't have a perfect answer about who's better. Who's greater is identified by things that are on and off the court in respect to basketball or in boxing, in and out of the ring, that has to deal with whatever sports you're dealing with. That's how I differentiate the two. I've actually had a debate about this. But I think there is a clear difference. Now, but to be clear, you cannot be the greatest without arguably being the best, because you would not be considered the greatest if you didn't have immense talent, immense impact, immense influence over whatever you're doing inside whatever square or circle or whatever game you're playing. It's just that you're not considered the greatest without having that sort of impact. So to be clear, I think there is an argument to say that Michael Jordan is the best and the greatest. I think it's clear cut that he is the greatest. I don't think it's even close that he is the greatest basketball player of all time.
Wow.
There's more of an argument to say that he is not the best player of all time. But there is no way that I feel that anyone can say that his impact on and off the court is rivaled at all versus anybody in NBA history. DC, you got a chance to respond, and we're going to let MJ the God on.
Okay, look, fellas. What I mean by this is, and I said this plain and simple. It go back to what Rex said, and I said it. This is why you don't have a GOAT. So Michael Jordan is the greatest to me because of marketing. He does not have all of it. He does not have more accolades than anybody. Only thing he has more of another person is just the championship. He's not the he's not the he's not the defender. He's not the greatest shot blocker. I wouldn't call him average. I'll call him good at it. The point I'm making to y'all is when I see somebody like Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant, I see one is the greatest Nike, Jordans, all of the commercials. And you have to admit that if you like this person, your opinion is going to be based on that. Okay. So what I'm saying is Michael Jordan is the greatest NBA player of all time for entertainment. He's not the best. I think Kobe Bryant would be the best. Now, only reason why I'm using these two guys, hold up, hit me on. I'm about to wrap it up right here. The
I
reason
was
why
just
I'm
laughing
using these
because
two
Robin
guys,
was talking about that. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry.
what I'm saying is the reason why we like Mike and Kobe is because of their size. We don't like the tall guys because it's a cheat effect. They big. They already gonna dominate. But if you're watching these two people play, you can say that Michael Jordan is great. I'm not gonna take none of that from him. But is it okay for another player to take what you had and enhance it?
Okay, so I'm going to let MJ the God on, but I get your point, and yeah, it's evolution, and I'm not speaking for everybody here because I'm sure they have different opinions, but I want to let MJ the God on since he's waiting. But at first, before I answer this in general, thank you for calling in. I appreciate you calling in and participating with the chat. But I think in general, I mean, that's just a natural stage of time. Is people learn from what people have done. I like to use this example. Are Spartans greater than Southern militiamen because they've got guns? A Southern militiaman is going to go and shoot a Spartan and win, but does it mean that they did more or were greater than a Spartan? Or is Rome not as great as, let's say, I don't know, Libya right now because they don't have airports? It does, you know what I'm saying? Like things
Yeah.
grow, things change over time. I feel that's more of the latest is the greatest argument. So I get what you're saying. And I'm just trying to streamline this to have MJ the God come on. I'm sure everyone else on the panel has more to say about it. But I think that's my quick answer. And I think pretty much everyone agrees with that sort of concept on this panel. I'm not speaking for them, but I think that's just it's kind of an easy way to say that, yeah, people work off of each other, what they've learned over time.
Hey, look, let me add this last part.
All right.
Now, you answered that. I heard you clear, right?
Okay.
Now, watch this. What makes Michael Jordan the greatest and the best? Please show me something in writing. So you should be able to tell me that he has 6 defensive MVPs and 3 rebounding titles. That's just an example of what I'm saying. I think it's okay to say he's the greatest, but please explain to me why you think he's the best player.
This dude off, man.
Yeah. Now
Hey, look, I'm gonna check out, man, because I don't like your boy. He be doing sucker shit. Peace out, fellas.
all right. Thank you for calling, DC. All right, MJ the God. Welcome. How are you today?
I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yes. Are you Jason the Kid or somebody else?
No, I'm MJ the God.
Okay. I just didn't see your name on the chat specifically. Maybe I missed it. How are you today?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Great. Do you have a question pointed at somebody specifically, or do you want to ask the panel something?
Oh, I just want to say a couple of things. First of all, Michael Jordan does have the most accolades in NBA history, and he had that after 13 seasons. In Kareem, he has the second most of all time. So I don't know what this guy is talking about. He might want to go check the list again, but Jordan has the most accolades in NBA history. And I just want to say to the LeBron fans, you better take a deep breath because when LeBron retires, people got to remember they're using this guy for publicity. They're using him for uh, media ratings, and that's all they're using this guy for now because everybody knows he's not better than Jordan as far as career, Kareem, Magic, Wilt, not even Hakeem. And when he retires, they're going to discard this guy so fast because we know right now the NBA is lacking ratings and they're not using LeBron because people like him as far as, for ratings, as far as he's a good guy, he's the greatest player and stuff like that. It's more like controversy. And that's what sells the NBA. You can take like the MLB. Okay, once they pretty much kicked all the American players out, their ratings dropped. So what they did, they used the Barry Bonds steroid thing for a long time to keep their ratings up because they knew they kicked the American players out, and American people didn't gravitate towards the MLB like they used to. Yeah, the Dominican players are good, the Spanish players are good, and stuff like that. But to me, if they wanted to keep a super league and they wanted to keep a real great league in the MLB, they would have kept more of the black players and the Latino players, and they would have had a super league, but they were too busy with greed and paying the Latino players in the Caribbean League less money. So they were more uh, with greed. So you got a lot of European players, a lot of international players coming into the NBA like they have for a long time, and I think that's why the ratings have been dropping because not only because of LeBron, is because American people like American players. So I think they're keeping this LeBron thing alive, not because he's the greatest player or he has like a better skill set or anything like that. Is because of controversy, and that's what's selling. And I think once this guy retires, to break the LeBron fans' hearts, they're going to discard this guy so fast. They're going to be like, what was we thinking? And plus, he's not around no more. And I think, like a lot of people have been saying, I think they're going to bring up a steroid type of thing to keep the NBA afloat in ratings until they can bring on the next great player to lead the league. And I think it's kind of awful what they've been doing. So that's all I got to say.
No, I got what you're saying, and I appreciate your viewpoint. Do you have any question for the panel or pointed to somebody individually?
Not really. I think these guys have been doing a good job. They've said it all. I think we should get back to basketball, sports, and Fitz Rancy says a lot about this. Get back to fundamentals of the game, and we just don't see this. It's not basketball like we know it. We don't see traps no more. We don't see low post game. We don't see team ball no more. All we see is four guys sitting at the 3-point line and one guy sitting inside. It's a pick and pop game. It's not really basketball no more. I don't know how they even. You could watch college basketball and it's not as bad as the NBA. I just think we ought to get back to, real basketball. But as far as the panel, these guys are great. I like listening to them. I like the show. So that's about it for right now.
Awesome. Well, thank you for your contribution, MJ the God. I appreciate you tuning in. And thank you.
Yo, thanks a lot, man.
Much
Indeed,
love.
man. We appreciate you, bro.
I've dropped a link again for anybody that'd like to call in. If nobody calls in, we'll end the show shortly.
Yo, hold up. Can I say something real quick?
Absolutely, yeah.
I don't know if you could bring it up, but my man DC Slim put something in the comments. He said something about me in the comments, man, because he's all upset now. He ran away like a little kid or whatever. So I don't know if you can find the comment in there and put it up. But he says something about calling me a Jordan jock sniffer and I'm crybaby and things like this. Listen, what did I tell you guys before he came on? I called out what he was gonna say. I told you he was gonna bring some stupid boneheaded Kobe angle, which he always does. There is no argument for Kobe Bryant being greater than Michael Jordan. Listen, I have Kobe Bryant in my top 3, which is higher than most people have Kobe Bryant. I have him number 3. So when we think about this aspect, I have a lot of respect and I have a high regard for Kobe Bryant. But when people try to make it seem as if Kobe Bryant is better than Michael Jordan somehow, like this guy DC Slim, it's laughable at best, man. And when he comes on here, he never has facts, all right? First, he couldn't get the question right. He was fumbling on his words like an idiot. And then after he gets it straight, what does he come on here and say? That Michael Jordan doesn't have the most accolades all time, which is actually a factual inaccuracy. Michael Jordan does have the most accolades of all time, but that's neither here nor there. I've never ever made an argument for Michael Jordan being the greatest basketball player of all time based on the number of accolades he's had. So when this guy comes on here and he calls me a Jordan jock sniffer, these things of that nature, I don't care who you think the greatest basketball player of all time is. As long as you keep it about the facts, don't ever come back to this channel and start talking nonsense like you do. Keep it about the facts, fool, and don't ever try to call me a Jordan jock sniffer or a crybaby. Grown men know about the facts and honor the facts. You come in here with your nonsense about Kobe Bryant and the best and the greatest. You are stupid. And what I tell you, man, don't come in again with the Kobe stuff.
Pierre, welcome. How are you doing today?
Good. How you guys doing?
Man, we're great, man. How you doing?
It's good to hear from all of you guys. Hey, Rex. Rex is quiet over there.
Had my mute on. Sorry.
How you doing, Rex?
How's it going?
Good. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah.
Hey, Dart, did you see what I put in the chat?
Are you talking about the accolades stuff?
Yeah.
It's kind of popping off, but yeah, I saw. I put it on the face that Michael Jordan has 37 accolades.
Right, and Kareem has 24.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And I got those stats from I forgot his name, the guy that just went off. Not the crazy PC guy.
MJ the God.
Yeah, right. MJ the God. I got it from him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he put out those stats. They seem to be pretty accurate. How you doing, Robin?
Yo, I'm doing great, baby. We out here doing our thing, man. We setting the record straight. That's what it's always been about.
You know it, brother. You know it. We just got to keep on Dart calm.
Yeah.
Dart is the one that always gets excited.
Yep, I'm a super animated guy. People say I'm the most energetic, the most over the top. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, what's up, Pierre?
What was the topic today? I just got here, so.
Okay. Do you have a question for the panel or anything like that, or a pointed question to anybody?
Oh no! I was trying to find out what the topic was because I had just gotten on, so I was just interested in finding out what the topic was, and then if something comes in my brain, I'll ask you, one of you guys.
Okay, yeah. So the title of the show, and we talked about this in a variety of ways. Does LeBron James really care about winning another championship?
No, he cares about stat padding and seeing what coach he can get fired.
Yeah, that's vindictive.
It's just ridiculous what's going on with the Lakers now. You even got guys opening up new podcasts talk about how much they hate the Lakers now because he's on the team. It's like a whole bunch of different podcasts talking about how much they can't stand the fact that he's on the team now. I'm not really a Laker fan until he leaves the team. There's a lot of them saying that.
Hey, PR. I mean, my bad. Pierre, I'm sorry. A lot of guys I deploy with, they're diehard Laker fans, and they told me that they have not cheered for the Lakers since he's been in that franchise because they was like, even Kobe said this, he's not built for LA. They told me this, and clearly they were not lying. So I do understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. Hey, Rex, I want to ask you something. Rex, yes. When we talk about people like LeBron or Kobe or, I know you don't have a GOAT, but when we talk about people like LeBron, Kobe, or and MJ, the reason why there's such a backlash against LeBron is because he has his people out here saying all this negative stuff to elevate him Rex, and then push Kobe down, totally out of the picture, you know, and to elevate LeBron, I don't. What I'm asking you, Rex, is this: when did it happen that LeBron went over Kobe? Like all of a sudden he was better than Kobe in your mind. I wanted to know this from you.
When Kobe retired, so there was no more head-to-head competition talk. The league moved on because talking about retired players doesn't make you money. That was always Stern's mantra. That's why they stopped talking about the guys from the 50s and 60s and 70s. And whatever year you're in, the players from that year are the greatest players ever. That's how they have always promoted it ever since 1980. Ever since Stern took over marketing and business for the NBA, that has been the mantra, is today's player, whenever today is, are the greatest players ever. And that's what we're pushing. Because you can't sell dead guys, you can't sell retired guys.
Right. But Rex, what I was talking about was that they kept saying that LeBron was the greatest. To me, it started around 2011 or 2012. I'm talking about the media now.
Oh, the media?
Yeah, I'm talking about the media. I apologize. I meant to preface is that.
Well, I always say it started 8 years ago because
Oh, 8 years ago. Okay.
that's when Nike signed a $1 billion contract with ESPN and the NBA.
What did that have to do with it, Rex?
Because that made it financially viable to create this GOAT debate. Because no matter which side you chose Nike.
Okay.
They put $1 billion into it, knowing they would make multiple billion out of it. People always forget when you're talking about professional basketball, the word professional comes before the word basketball. Basketball is second. Business is first.
Right.
That's why I don't watch the NBA, don't like watching the NBA, is because it's a homogenized version of the sport. It's not true basketball. There are literally 10 million basketball games played every year around the globe. Only 1,000 of them are NBA. It is not indicative of the sport as a whole. They have their own rules. They have their own agenda. It is not the sport.
Right.
It is one version of the sport.
Right.
Hey, Dart.
Rex, I never looked at it that way. About had to do with Nike and the business side of it. Why he got pushed.
You can Google it. 8 years ago, it literally, the contract just ended the month before Michael Jordan sold the Charlotte Hornets. 8 years ago, Nike signed a $1 billion contract with both ESPN and the NBA. That's why on ESPN, all you hear.
Right.
Real fast, Hoop God was trying to say something. What's up?
Oh no, I was just giving you a heads up at our common sense that had showed up in the chat. But I wanted to chime in on what Rex and Pierre were discussing. No, what Rex is saying is very it's factual and true, because there's another player, I think we spoke about this a few days ago. Had Magic Johnson signed with Nike, we would be getting Magic Johnson in that combo and being promoted just the Jordan, the LeBrons, because like Rex said, no matter what size you're choosing Nike. So ultimately they're still gonna win.
Right. Wow, that is so interesting. I never looked at it, that angle of it. Never looked at that angle of it. Did you, Dart?
Yeah. I've been friends with Rex for a while. He's it's one of his common themes, and I can't actually dispute that is likely a major factor in how they promote these things.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's written on paper somewhere, but it definitely makes sense. So I can't say it's not true. I can't say it is true, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
As
Oh,
a
it
matter,
does make
as a
it
matter of
does
fact,
make everything clear.
hey Pierre, if you go back and just check out footage from the 2010 NBA Finals, you will hear Mark Jackson and I believe Jeff Van Gundy, not Stan got the recipe voice. So yeah, you will hear them saying on several occasions, Kobe Bryant is the closest thing we've ever seen to Michael Jordan. Can Kobe
Oh
Bryant
yeah, yeah,
surpass Michael Jordan? So once again,
yeah,
two Nike assets. So that's what
yeah.
Rex is saying. That's it right there in the media. You just like the media will tell you who to cheer for. They'll who you're really comparing, like who is who. And I remember that in 2010 watching because to a
Right,
certain extent, I wasn't as versed
right,
as I am now, but I'm looking like, okay, well maybe Kobe can pass him if he can get 6. But looking back
right.
on it now, no, it's MJ's. Kobe. I got Kobe in my top 3 too, but he's not up
Yeah, I
there
got
with
him in my
Jordan.
top 3 too now.
Yeah, and understand, I'm not saying any view or perspective is correct or incorrect. I'm just telling you the facts. That's where the money goes, and it is a
Right,
business
right,
first.
right.
Robin, I don't know if you have anything to say about this. Do you have anything to say about it?
Nah, man, you guys are good.
All right.
My phone is done. I ain't got much time left, y'all.
I got you. Uncommon Sense. Welcome back, sir. I'm trying to get you on here. Can you
Hey,
hear us?
Robin,
Yo,
can I ask you something?
what's up, man?
What'd you think of my boy last night?
Who, Curry?
You know how much I love him.
Well, that's a bad man.
I did a video this morning about it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, man.
Oh, I gotta watch it.
Yeah,
That's
check
a
it out,
bad
man. For
man.
real.
Okay, you hear me?
Okay, I gotta watch it.
Yep.
Sorry to interrupt you guys.
No, you're good, Pierre. Thank you for calling. I'm gonna Uncommon Sense has just called in. He wasn't here through the whole show, so I'm gonna give him his airtime real fast. Okay.
He's the best on Common Sense.
All right. Thank you. Thank you for calling.
How's everybody doing?
Great.
Much
Man,
respect.
Super Bowl Sunday, man.
Indeed.
Yep.
Yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the Kobe Jordan thing. And I can't remember what the guy was saying, but something about accolades and Kobe being better than Michael Jordan, even though Michael Jordan is the greatest. Kind of two things. First of all, when people say that, I've never heard anybody give a clear explanation of why they think Kobe is actually better than Michael Jordan, except for the fact that maybe he has some more moves or whatnot. But I've always said this: I do believe Kobe probably had a few more moves than Mike. However, if you look at both of them play, Mike was more surgical, more efficient with moves that he had, and which is why the eye test weighs so heavily for me. And then, of course, we don't even have to talk about the accolades. I can't remember if the guy was saying Kobe had more accolades or something. But yeah, we don't even have to talk about the accolades. But just on the eye test, to me, you can see that Michael Jordan's moves were just much more precise, much more circle than Kobe Bryant, even though Kobe came the closest to Mike. And I think, all you have to do is look at the fact that, again, most players who played past and current still have Mike as the GOAT. And a lot of these players have played against both Kobe and Mike. So, to me, I think that's enough evidence in itself.
Yeah. So, real fast with I don't know. You probably don't hear this, but you got a lot of backdrop and static.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure how what your setup is, but just to inform you. And then and real fast, Larry Coleman was asking about the link. Yeah, you got to go to my channel, man. It's just how it's set up. If it would go to Robin's channel, which I'm assuming you're coming from, it's either that or Rex's channel. You got to come to mine. If you don't like what I got to say, you don't got to subscribe to my channel or anything like that. But you got to come to my channel to get the link if you want to click it. Otherwise, it's up. I drop it. You can type it in if you want. Otherwise, yeah. Robin, I know you said you got to go soon. You have anything to say about what Uncommon Sense was saying?
Yo, man, much respect to Uncommon for stopping through, man. Yeah, I only got 3% left on my phone here. You know, I do everything from the phone, baby. You know what I'm saying? But, yo, I think we might have to do a show next Sunday or whenever we're available to do the next live stream. We might have to do one on this Kobe thing because I don't have enough time, really, to get into what I really want to get into. Because, once again, I value Kobe Bryant. I have him ranked number 3 in my all-time rankings, which, like I said, is very high for a lot of people. A lot of people don't have Kobe Bryant that high. So I have no disrespect towards Kobe Bryant. But when we talk about this guy, DC Slim, and some of these other people in the comment section that are, you know, Kobe Bryant supporters, once again, we're on the verge of lying and creating narratives for a Kobe Bryant over a Michael Jordan. Once again, the only way you can debate Michael Jordan is through lies and narratives. Remember that, guys. And that's the same thing with any player against Michael Jordan. You must do it through bending of reality, not lies and narratives. When you hear people talk about Kobe Bryant's a better all-around player than Michael Jordan, once again, it's laughable, guys. Kobe Bryant does not do anything better than Michael Jordan, except, like I said, maybe dribbling the basketball. But what is ball? What is dribbling? When we talk about ball handling, Michael Jordan is the superior ball handler by far. It's not even a question. When we think about playmaking, once again, Michael Jordan's a greater playmaker, a rebounder at his position. He's a better defensive player. He was a better leader. He had the intangibles over Kobe Bryant. This doesn't, not to say that Kobe Bryant doesn't have these intangibles, but once again, we could do another show on this, man, because like I said, man, Michael Jordan is just superior to Kobe Bryant. When people talk about skills, what are we talking about here? Skills. Michael Jordan has the skills. So, yeah, man, I don't know. We got to do a show on this, I think.
Yeah, I'm down to do it. Uncommon Sense, are you available next week to do Kobe versus MJ?
I believe I should be. Yeah. Is my mic still stacking?
It is, but
Okay.
it's all good. Yeah. But awesome. I'll get in touch with you about it. But I think that's a great subject because that has been a something that DC Slim has been bringing up, and I know that some people have that opinion in general that Kobe is better than Michael Jordan. I personally don't see it, but I get the argument. Let me just put it that way. I don't think it's insane to say that, but I do not think it's true. Real fast, I know, Robin, your stuff's about to die out. We'll let Larry Coleman on, and then we're going to stop the show after this. Larry Coleman,
Hey, what's up? Yeah,
Hey,
what's
hey.
up, guys, man? I appreciate y'all, man. Just right quick, Ace, what's up on everybody, man? Sports Fitness, man. I always look at your channel, man. I really appreciate your channel, man. Always, man.
Yo,
I
much
think
respect. I appreciate that, man. A lot. Truly humbled, man.
yeah, man. I think I caught your channel. Your algorithm came on my phone like maybe about 4 or 5 months ago. But yeah, man. I caught your video this morning about LeBron James not being in the dunk contest, man. I don't know if you remember. He was in the McDonald's All-American game, and he had a dunk contest there, and it was in Akron, Ohio. And it's like they gave him, to me at that time, I'm 35 years old, but at that time, I was looking at him, and I wasn't really paying no attention. You know, everybody, the media was talking about LeBron James and all that stuff, and how good he was, which he was, and all that stuff like that. But yada yada yada. Now looking at it years later, knowing that, I feel like they giving him all these accolades. It's like they giving him all the work and he's not doing it. But that dunk contest, you had Shannon Brown in that dunk contest. I felt like he did a better dunk than LeBron. Like pretty much half of them guys on that dunk contest was better than him, you know. But it's like they gave it to him because it was his hometown. It was Akron, Ohio. So of course, it's like he won, and he kept doing the same dunks over and over again. It just usually got a little bit higher than the dunk moves he was doing before. It didn't make no sense at all. And me being a diehard Laker fan, man, I can't stress enough, man. When my homeboy told me this man was about to get traded to the Lakers, I was so disappointed, man, because I knew I never liked. I'm not sounding like him as a basketball player, but he's not a guy where when it's time to win, it's time to win. And y'all call this man the GOAT, the greatest player of all time and all that. I don't see it. I never saw it when he first came into the league, and I don't see it now. I never did. And for all these people that nothing, if you like LeBron, you like him, but I just know, man, when he is a disaster, and it's not all him, it's the Laker organization as well, because they pretty much don't care about the fans that actually support the Lakers, man. I mean, it's a disgrace, man. It's It's embarrassing. And the day that Kobe Bryant got his statue, this man still ain't care, and we end up losing. You know what I'm saying? We lose to the OKC Thunder with this man past Kareem. Like, who cares about the accolade? When you wear that Laker uniform, you supposed to win championships. That's what that Laker uniform is about. Ain't about no accolades. Nobody care about that. But nah, this man here want to disgrace the Laker organization, disgrace the whole Laker base. I told my girlfriend last night, man, because she know how I feel. If I was to ever go to a Laker game, you know what I'm saying, and he still played, I don't care if I paid $800-900 and me and her there. As long as she don't break up with me, all I care, I'm gonna give this man the business. If I get kicked out, it will be worth it. It will be worth it, man. I swear, it will be so worth it because I'm gonna give this man the business. There's no reason that you are a Laker and you disgrace the Laker jersey, man. Disgrace the Laker organization the way you play, and they call you the best player of all time. You kidding me? Kobe Bryant put it on the floor every night. And that whole team followed this man because he was a leader. But nah, this bum here want to damn mess up the whole organization by coming and messing it all up because he want to be called great. Nah, man, I don't see that, man. But, man, much respect to you guys, man. Sports Fitness, I always follow you, man. I love your channel, man. Dart, man, I appreciate you, man. I never seen you channel before. I thought it was on sports channel with a screen yard. And again, man, I just appreciate, what you do sports, man. I always listen to your channel, man. You always keep it real, man. I love Michael Jordan as well. I'm a Kobe fan, man. I've been a Laker fan since Kobe came into the league in '96, man. And that just I had to go with Kobe over Jordan, but I mean at the same time I do, that's just my delusional mind, but I know Jordan is the man, and Kobe to me is my second. And I respect everybody, and I respect what you say sports, and all you guys on this panel, man. I respect what you guys said because like I said, we real NBA fans, man. But LeBron, man, I'm ready for him to dip, man. I swear, I cannot chant for this Laker team. I can't. It's because of him. It is. It really is. But if I ever go to a game, man, if y'all see me and I go viral, it will be worth it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Oh, there's some sort of backdrop here.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. I think it's maybe it's Robin. I don't know.
I don't know.
Hey, can you? Okay. Yeah, it was Robin's. I don't know. Maybe his phone died. But real fast with all of this. Yeah, if you like you're saying, Larry, if you like anybody on his channel, you can go check us out. Me at Michael Jordan Fans are the best. Uncommon Sense. Rex at Politicus Rex, and then Sports and Fitness Rants for the people that don't check him out at Sports and Fitness Rants. I think Robin's phone died because it went black, and he was saying that it was low. But real fast, you're going to be the last guest, Roland Curtis. Just thanking you for Robin. Man, hold on, what's going on here? Yeah, there's more people that are coming in. This is Larry, you're going to be the last guest. But
okay.
What I'm getting at is, do you have a question for the panel?
Nah, man.
Or anybody individual?
Nah, I'm good, man. I appreciate y'all. You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Nah, I appreciate it, man. I just appreciate you letting me on. That's it. I ain't got no questions, man. You go ahead and do what you do, man. I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for calling in. Roland Curtis, I'm sorry, man. And same with LBJ over MJ. Until next time. But I want to thank everybody for coming. Rex, thank you for coming as always. And Uncommon Sense, thanks you for coming at the end of the show. You guys, absolutely. You guys have any last words or anything?
Not for me.
All right, Robin. I see you came back on real fast. You have any last?
Man, sorry about that.
You got any last words for everybody?
No, man. Shout out to everybody in the live stream, everybody that checked in, man. Everyone who called in, man. Shout out to everybody, man. Thanks a lot, Dark Rex, man. It was a pleasure again, guys. Once again, another successful stream, more education for the people out there, man. We must continue to stand up, set the record straight, stop the lies, stop the narratives, y'all. You know the deal.
I want to thank Angry Old Hoops for coming on. He had left earlier about midway through the stream. So thank you again, Angry Old Hoops, for coming on, and anybody that is a fan of him. Again, if you like what we have to say, all of us here, please subscribe to our channels. And if you really like it, get the notifications for it. Otherwise, Uncommon Sense, are you okay? And same with you, Rex, about talking Kobe versus Michael Jordan. I think that's a great topic that has been ignored as of late. What do you guys think about that? If you're able to come.
Yeah, I'm totally up for that.
Awesome. And then I'll shout out Hoop God again. He's at Dewan Sanders if you like what he has to say. But yeah, thank you all for coming. Thank you to live chat. And then particularly for the guys, I know Roland gave you, Robin, and somebody else, I think Stan, if I'm not mistaken, gave you some super chats. Do you want to shout them out at all?
Yeah, shout out to Stan, man. Stan's been a subscriber to my channel for a while now, man. Always has good comments, a true basketball fan. Shout out to him and Roland, man. I believe that might have been the first time he's ever super chatted or super thanks to me. So shout out to him once again, these guys, man. These guys know the deal, man. This is not about narrative. This is not about hate. It's all about setting the record straight, man. That's what's always been about, man. We must continue to stand up, y'all. So thanks to everybody out there, for real, man. I'm truly, truly humbled, man, by the support.
Absolutely. And for everyone that's still in the chat, I just want to put it out here. This show is designed, I'm trying to make it the best Michael Jordan and Rex, because Rex is not a Michael Jordan fan, but Rex is always welcome to the show because he is a true basketball historian. But I just don't want to lump him into the rest of us as just purely Michael Jordan fans. But this show is designed to bring together the greatest YouTubers that are pro Michael Jordan fans together on one platform, and to talk and just have candid conversations about the modern NBA and what we think about how it is. Anyway, DC Slim says, sounds like a narrative. Anything's a narrative, man. Like I don't understand when people use that word plainly. If you go and you say somebody's better than somebody else, or you say I think this or that, that's a narrative. I don't know. I'm not like calling you out specifically, DC, but you said it. Anybody that shares their opinion, it becomes a narrative. When you talk about something, you just don't use numbers, and you don't say, well, who has the most rings of all time? It's Bill Russell. Who has sold the most shoes of all time? It's Michael Jordan, in respect to outside of Chuck Taylor. And I don't really know the answer to that. But in respect to that sort of stuff, unless you keep to just stating numbers, everything is a narrative. So when people say that stuff, I want to use a stronger word than that. Get real, man. Everyone has a narrative. Like, just...
Don't worry, we're going to fix him in the next live stream, man. We'll straighten him out. He obviously don't know the definition or the meaning of a narrative, man. And we're going to educate him next week. So stay tuned, DC Slim. You're never too far when we come on these live streams, man. And be prepared for the education.
Yep. But I still appreciate your presence, and I appreciate your Discord and your addition to the channel. But thank you all for the live chat, in the live chat. Appreciate you all. And yeah, I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. You enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy the rest of your week. And until next week, Michael Jordan fans are the best.